Good? That's not good at all. All right, we'll do a sound check. You're gonna hear me twice. You're also gonna hear an ad, probably. Hey, the ad's muted. Nice. All right, we'll do a sound check. You're gonna hear me twice. You're also gonna hear an ad, probably. All right, what up, everybody? Scotch, McRight Face, Milky Way, Patrick are here. Let's people gather. Ugh. He lives for now. It's true. That is actually very on point, Scotch. Very on point. When did we last stream? Let's look. When did I last stream? 13 days ago. It's been almost 2 weeks since I streamed. Yeah, that's been cool. I meant to stream a lot more this month, and if you've been like super active on my Discord, you'll kind of know what's going on, but I've had some health issues this summer. Necromancer with the 20 gifted memberships as soon as I start the stream. God damn. That's intense. Thanks, dude. Thank you. But yeah, I've had some health issues over the summer. I meant to be streaming a lot more. So I've had anxiety and panic disorder for like 10 years, 11? Yeah, 10 or 11 years. And we switched medications in the spring. That didn't go very well, so then we got back to my old medications, but it's just been kind of like a whole process. So we're still dealing with the aftermath of that. And then like where I live, I won't dox myself too hard, but I live in Minnesota. So if you can find me in the whole state, then good for you. But I live in Minnesota, which is currently getting blasted by smoke from Canadian wildfires. So when you're having a panic attack, you feel like you can't breathe. And then when there's horrible smoke filling the air and you have mild asthma, you feel like you can't breathe. So sometimes it's like, sometimes both will be happening, right? Like you'll have a panic attack and the smoke will make it worse. Or there's other times where the smoke just makes it so you can't breathe. And then you're like, am I having a panic attack? Like, you don't say that out loud, but you know, your brain and your instinct is like, am I having a panic attack? Am I freaking out right now? And I'm just kind of short of breath all the time. So it's like, cool. Really easy to get my shit back together and recover from panic stuff when the air quality is ass and I literally can't breathe. So sometimes the answer is, you know, I can't breathe. It's like, yeah, you can't. Like, so yeah, my inhaler I had in like high school is crazy expired. It expired in like 2021. So I got to go get that re-upped. I don't need it at all in my daily life. It's just, I kind of aged out of it, but now that there's all this smoke and garbage, it's like, oh shit, I should probably have an inhaler for when the air quality gets this bad, which is new. So I haven't been streaming much. And I'll be honest, it's making me a little nervous for today because I recorded a 2.5 hour or 2 hour rant that people wanted. We talked about it on a different video, and I was completely winded like 3/4 of the way through. And afterwards I had to like just sit down and like take a breather. It felt like I ran like 5 miles. I was so fucking winded. So I'm kind of worried on this live stream I'm gonna get gassed very quickly and be like, hey guys, I gotta go, you know. It's and Carl Franz dives in and then 1 second then he swings and he misses. I'll catch you guys later. So we'll see how it goes. We're gonna find out. Bird has been complaining about the same. Yeah, I don't want to dox anybody else. If I volunteer up my own information, that's my own problem. But I know Bird lives in the vicinity of me, and I know it's pretty rough where he lives. All right, so let's get into this stream. Enough time letting people gather. Real quick, we do have a promotion at the start here. I'm going to make sure I get their name correctly because I just know them as Autumn. Autumn Natoy on Discord asked me to promote a game they made, and it's roughly in the genre we talk about. Now, if someone sends me like a gacha game, I probably won't mention it, but it is a turn-based strategy game, and it looks if not fantasy, like, you know, medieval-esque, so it might be of interest to some of you. So if you're interested in checking out something from someone in the community, they do have a Steam page up. You just type in Everwar in Steam, or if you really feel like it, you can copy that word for word at the top of my bar here. But it's currently in demo, apparently. It's like there's a lot of formation usage, some base building. But it's kind of cute, kind of fun, turn-based, silly shenanigans. And they are in my Discord, so if you have questions about it, you can just like ping them, you know, at Autumn. Are they the only Autumn on my Discord? Well, whatever, I'll just post it in a spot you can see, but I'm gonna get out of my DMs. All right, so on my Discord, yeah, Autumn Toy. So if you have questions about the game or anything like that, you can ask the creator. That could be pretty fun. It's supposed to come out in Q4 2025, so it'll come out soon. Just a fun little shout out for someone in our community who did something pretty cool. Pretty darn neato. But we have new player tournament number 100 today. We have done one of these a week for about a year and a half, and then we switched to about every other week. So let's just take 100 weeks, right? Let's say we've done this for 100 weeks. It's been longer, but I can't get the exact number. 100 weeks is almost 2 years. That is almost 2 years of new player tournaments. Let's fucking go. So for this one, we are doing something a little bit special. Normally, if you're familiar with the format for these, there's 4 or 5 Swiss rounds where everybody plays no matter what. And then the people at RTK who hosted this tournament will take the top 4 scoring people, put them in a mini best of 1 bracket against each other, and the winner will be determined that way. Today, we are offering 1st through 4th place DLCs, including, if you want, the Tides of Torment upcoming DLC. If you want to delay that until Tides of Torment come out, I'll make a note, and then when that DLC comes out, I will get it for you. The winner gets 3 DLCs of their choice. But since there are prizes on the line, we also wanted a little more hype. So the top 8 will be taken from the Swiss stage, put into a bracket, so you have to win at least 1 best of 1 in the playoffs to get that DLC prize. Swiss stage, best of 1, and single faction, so people have picked their factions beforehand. They are submitting me replays. We will catch live games. We will catch the entire top 8 live, but in the chaotic, wild Swiss stage, where already it can take a while if someone is taking a while to get their games done, it would not help if I was jumping around trying to find live games, adding to lag, all that stuff. So we do cast random replays from the Swiss stage to provide you with entertainment and games to watch and maybe get a feel for the combatants, but quarterfinals on, it will be live. All right. So we'll have some familiar faces here on our new player circuit. We have Frost, who I recognize, and I also recognize Zin Money. I feel like Zin Money and End of the Lion, another player that's... I think he's in this tournament today, but he's been in a lot of the new player tournaments recently, so you'd think he would be. I'm scrolling quick. I am blazing over the names, so I might have missed them, but I don't see Enda today. But anyway, Zin Money and Enda came in like the same new player tournament, and I ended up casting like all of Zin's games because he had some weird and crazy builds. Like, what the hell am I looking at? That is an unholy pile of zombies and ghouls. Okay, so khorne versus vampire counts. The problem for the vampire counts in this matchup is a lot of people are playing against khorne right now where they just take no infantry whatsoever. You take nothing khorne can kill, and you kite them, or you cycle charge them, or you run them around the map. The problem for the vampire counts is that's not a very effective way to win, because they don't have a lot of damage in that way. They don't have skirmish cavalry. They don't have really good shock cavalry. Like, Blood Knights are fine, but it's not like they're going to kill Chaos Warriors at khorne when they're cycle charging or anything like that. So the vampires need to bring infantry of some kind to support their Mortis engine. The Mortis engine is what can kill the elite khorne infantry. I just haven't seen them this piled up on each other, but I think he's trying to reduce the amount of units that can get killed and maximize the amount of units that are standing in the buff from the Unholy Lodestone and the heal from the Mortis engine. But this also does make it so khorne only has one place to stand, grind, and get those kills for free. And they also did bring a cultist on a war shrine, so that means he will be able to charge up his war shrine rather quickly, since everybody will be dying right next to him. He won't miss out on any of those kills. You can see it's already at 10% on the impact. So for the builds, we didn't actually talk about that too much. We have Heralds of Khorne's Fury, the Arwar Blood Crushers, and then 4 Marauder Horsemen of Khorne with throwing axes. Then we have Chosen of Khorne with dual weapons who are going to be eating really good, the Slaughter Guard, and some Marauders. For Zin Money and the Vampire Counts, we have a Von Karstein Lord with Flock of Doom to try and punish the Khorne units as much as possible on a dragon for a breath attack. 2 Terrorgeists for further breath attacks to try and punish the blob fight. And that's actually also why he wanted all of his units right next to each other, is he has 3 breath attacks, so he just wanted all of the Khorne units on top of each other as much as possible. Mortis Engine to drain down those units in melee, Necromancer to give extra winds of magic and bound zombie summon and AoE buffs, and then skeletons, zombies, and some crypt ghouls. Crypt horrors, sorry. No, crypt ghouls. Wait, damn it, I always forget which one's the infantry. Crypt ghouls, got it, the infantry ones. No monsters here. The 3 dragon type units coming back to the fight, looks like their breath attacks are off cooldown, so they want to get that extra damage in really quick onto the Chosen of Khorne. You can see as soon as the breath attack's done, the Terrorgeists go back after the skirmish cav, which was their real objective, as the Dragon Lord comes back for yet another beautiful breath attack down the line. Huge damage onto these Khorne infantry units. As much as you can really get. I mean, they're Chosen. A lot of armor, a lot of HP. Another Flock of Doom hits everybody. So for Khorne, seeing that your opponent wanted to line you up for breath attacks, it honestly would not have been a bad idea to, like, slowly feed your infantry in. Like, just have your Chosen go in and leave the Marauders out, so you don't have as much overlap, you don't have as many units getting hit by the same breath attacks, and your units that are standing back aren't going to get punished, because also everyone is getting drained down by the Mortis Engine, right? But if we click on this Chosen of Khorne, look how many of the models aren't even actually in melee, but they are all getting drained. They are all getting hit with these breath attacks, so I think letting the vampires stack up and just slowly feeding them their infantry is probably better here. Nevertheless, Khorne is getting the damage they need done in this melee fight. As we said, ooh, that's a Sword of Khorne. He's really trying to just get rid of these infantry and just stop the grind so the Mortis Engine has no one left to protect it. That's pretty solid. I mean, it's a good Sword of Khorne. I just meant it's a pretty solid strategy. Terrorgeist jumps in on the Cultist. Now, the problem of being defended almost entirely by infantry is there's no mass to stop this Terrorgeist from diving in and out as it wants to. Could be problematic. If there's Minotaurs or something, there's something to lock this guy in place and stop him from jumping in, doing whatever he wants. As another dragon jumps in on the Blood Speaker. Khorne is almost finished up the front line, though. I am seeing flags start to disappear for the undead, and that Mortis Engine's heal cap is in sight. Blood Speaker's pretty damaged. He threw down Blood Sacrifice for something. I don't know what he was healing up. Probably Chosen or the Slaughter Guard, who are somewhere. Heralds of Khorne's Fury still trying to get through the last of these zombies, but as we said at the start, all the zombies and stuff grouped up on each other means no one of them is going to take a crazy amount of damage too quickly. So they're all dying slowly rather than getting picked off, and it just leaves a bunch of nuisances in the late game to deal with. But Zin Money's Lord is taking a ton of damage from something. I guess it's, you know, being surrounded by Chosen of Khorne for sure, but still, he is taking a lot of damage. The Blood Speaker's going nowhere. He is unbreakable for now because of Pilgrimage of Skulls, and Khorne is down in the balance of power, but they're doing fine in this actual battle because Zin Money's Lord is about to die, which is always a disaster for the Vampire Counts. They cannot live without their Lord, and it is confirmed he is gone. Now, an equal problem, I mean, he's gone because he's crumbling. He can't heal himself when he's crumbling, so there he goes. But the Blood Speaker's also routing, and that's a huge problem. So it might be a Lord for Lord trade. Khorne is way better without their Lord than the Vampire Counts are without theirs. As the Blood Speaker continues to die off, the only thing that was going to be a problem is he's routing. The Terrorgeist could follow him, but it looks like the Skirmish Cav have survived long enough. I know the Terrorgeist were just chasing them most of the game, but it looks like they're able to come back. And you have 4 healthy Skirmish Cav in the late game with enough ammunition to finish this out for sure. And they're able to peel for the Blood Speaker, so Khorne's not even going to lose their leadership yet. The balance of power is heavily in the Vampire Count's favor. I disagree. I actually would way rather be Khorne right now. We still have some Chosen grinding it out. They're not immune to psychology because nothing in this game makes sense to me. How are Chosen of Khorne not immune to psychology? Come on. Anyway. But they'll get over their terror out. They'll come back. We still have a lot of throwing axes dealing with all these single entities. Yeah. We're doing okay. The fact that the Chosen can terror out is making me a little nervous about just saying I would way rather be khorne. Now I think it's 50-50 now that I realize they can terror out. Because if they couldn't terror out, it would be so hard to get that last little bit of leadership off of them, and they would just sit and grind. But now that a terror can happen, it's pretty easy to break them, unfortunately. Because you can see these guys were routing. They have 27 leadership now. But when you terror, you stop fighting. So you automatically go from winning melee combat or even to losing. So you lose leadership for losing melee combat. You lose leadership for flanks exposed or whatever because you ran away from what you were fighting. So let's take a look here. These guys are about to terror out. So they're at +8. Now they're at -4, -1. They're running away. Because as soon as they put their backs to the Terrorgeist, they're doomed. But one of the Terrorgeists is crumbling. The last natural zombie is crumbling. And the Necromancer does not have a zombie summon. He has a bound single-use summon that's gone. So you can't just count on zombie late game that the vampire counts usually can. If they could, I'd be a little more favorable on them because you still have a Mortis engine. You still have a Terrorgeist. You still have a Necromancer. And these khorne throwing axes will run out of ammo eventually. And you could maybe grind it out with the zombie summons and the Mortis engine. But without the zombie summons, this is getting really scary. Somehow the Mortis engine ended up catching these Marauder Horsemen in melee. That is a big mistake, and the khorne player is going to want that back. He just lost 2 of them. Terror routing, if it turns into a natural route, the Terrorgeist actually should follow them off the map. It needs to follow them off the map, and army losses takes them out for losing those 2 units. Oh no! It's a disaster! As the Pilgrimage of Skulls is the only thing that keeps khorne in the game, and I for sure think khorne was going to win without army losses happening there. That last second catch on the 2 Marauder Horsemen of khorne, an abject disaster for Frost, who was clawing that game back so carefully, but the balance of power said, nah, fuck you, dude. Nah, you're done, kid. Really good game from these two. I do think it was close. I don't think like Frost was robbed, like he had that 100% if army losses didn't happen, because like, I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just pointing out the state of the game. Like, he let his 2 Marauder Horsemen get caught, right? So just because that happened once, it could happen again. So like, sure, if all units in that map were unbreakable, maybe he lets other Marauder Horsemen get caught at different points. Maybe they get routed off. I'm not saying he had the game on lock, but he was definitely in it. Like, I would say like 60-40 in favor of khorne, and army losses was like, nah, fuck this dude. Because you saw how much damage those throwing axes were doing, man. Congrats, Human Boy, for doing 100 new player tournaments. What up, Zero? It's been a while since we've seen you, brother. Terrorgeist did okay. Zinmoney's Lord did a lot of work with Breath Attacks and Flock of Doom, but the Mortis engine is the big winner in that giant blob fight with 3,000 value. Skirmish Cab on the other side for Frost did fantastically. 1,300 value was the lowest out of them, which is pretty insane. Chosen of khorne did well, Slaughterguard did well, and the Blood Speaker plus his Marauders didn't get too much done, but that's kind of their lot. They're either supportive or chaff. Fortunately, neither of the Blood Crushers got much value either. Should we send replays to your channel, or are you just getting them from the Tourney chat? I'm getting them from the Tourney chat. Zin Money said he cheated with the rules. Oh, you have 5 single entities? Got it. It's a new player tournament. It happens. All right, some people are talking about my asthma stuff, and I missed that because I got into the game because I'm stupid. Hey, Human Boy, this is my first one. Currently putting the new player. Yeah, so we're doing our number 100, and there are prizes this one. But just so you know, there is a new player tournament every Saturday. Even the ones I don't cast. Every Saturday, RTK hosts new player domination and new player conquest. So even if you're like, I don't want to play conquest, I want to play domination, or you see like domination on Turin's channel, like, they host new player domination shit every day. Not every day. Every goddamn day. But no, every week, and they often have it cast. Like Maverick Sloth is casting this one this week, so yeah. If you're a new player and you want to play any game mode, get in there. Get on in there. What is this malarkey? Leodero versus Aedo. Wood Elf Mirror. When you accidentally break the rules, you do it well, Money. Yeah, some people in chat are noting that the win was actually given to the khorne player due to a rule break, but I was just going to gloss over it because it's kind of a minor detail, but yeah, that's fair. So Conquest, before you get on my ass, Conquest isn't like land battles, which I enjoy land battles. I'm a land battle stan, I'll always defend them. But Conquest, there's no attacking rules, there's no white line rules. The only rules are army composition, and it's generally unit caps. But CA's unit caps are inconsistent. Certain units count and certain units don't, depending on coding issues. So the tournament community just made a unified set tournament rules that applies to all factions equally, whereas unit caps and quick battles are fucking all over the place. So Zin Money just took a couple too many of certain units, like flying 3 breath attacks or 5 single entities, because I think you're limited to 4 single entities total. So that's what we're talking about with a rule break. It wasn't like some minor thing off screen that you're like, God, this is why land battles or conquest sucks and domination's OP is because there's no rules. It's like, no, it's just an army rule. Domination has those too. Everybody calm down. It'd be like picking Slanesh in a Dom tournament where they're banned. It's just like, yeah, shit happens. So moving on. You know what? Not moving on. I'm going to talk about this till the end of my life. What are we doing? What are we doing? What elf? What elf? For Leodoro versus Ayato? Arigato, Mr. Roboto. We have Traicha for Leodoro's army. Melkoth's is the only spell. Rouse to Ruin, Rouse to Wrath, Summon of Dryads. Frontline of a crap ton of Wood Elf units. 5 Eternal Guards, 5 Dryads, and then all of the Glade Guard you could possibly want. We have Hagbane Tips, Starfire Shafts, everything there. Not a lot of mobility. In fact, almost none for this Wood Elf build. We have 1 Glade Rider with Hagbane Tips. So it's a pike and shot build through and through. For the Red Army, they're going to have to win this through their cavalry because that's all they can get around and shut down those archers. You're never going to win the frontline fight against that many melee units. So we have 3 Wild Riders. Thankfully for them, all of them are shielded. They're going to need it. And then we have a Glade Lord with Pravenoth Rayma. Which, did you already use that just to lock that guy in place? No, so that was a natural catch. A front line of a couple Eternal Guard and Dryads, but way outclassed by their opponents. Some Glade Guard, but again, way outclassed by their opponents. They're just outnumbered. And then we have a Shadows Caster with Melkoth's and Enfeebling Foe and Zotes. Looking at the army compositions, I think the Green Army has a pretty good advantage. If you knew exactly what was coming, I think the Shadows Caster would have taken Pendulum instead of Melkoth's, because Melkoth's is really good. It's a great spell, but it's better at taking out elite targets. It's not great at just throwing it out at Dryads, Eternal Guard, Glade Guard. It's going to take too long to take you down even 1 unit. So knowing you have all these infantry to deal with, he definitely would have wanted Pendulum, where you could hit 2, maybe 3 if they're tightly packed enough. Zotes aren't going to have a great time. So unless he has God tier micro with 3 Wild Riders, I don't know if the Red Army has enough stopping power to deal with this. Because we mentioned the spells. The Zotes are anti-large armor-piercing fighters, and they have no heavy cav, no giant monsters to fight, so they're kind of outclassed. The Glade Lord is the sniping Glade Lord, but there's nothing to snipe in this build. It's all generically medium tier, right? None of it's garbage because they're elves. Elves don't have garbage units, but none of it's good enough to be worth sniping. So your Lord's kind of useless. Your Zotes are kind of useless. The Magic Brat's kind of useless. It's rough. Wild Riders jump into the Glade Guard. Again, catching these Glade Riders out for the 2nd time. But it seems like Leo's just not bothered by it at all. When you bring an army of all pseudo-chaff units, if one gets caught, you're kind of like, oh no! What a shame! One of the units I brought to die died. Yo, Dreaded Saurian, how you doing? Okay, what do we have? Melkoth's Miasma onto this Glade Guard. You can see it's doing, you know, 1,000 damage to them, but you'd have to cast it 5 more times to even kill that unit, and there's a billion units. Hi, Bubba! A little bit. I paused it. Why? Can I get a spider? Okay, but you gotta talk to chat. Where's the spider?
Hi, chat. Grease. Human boy is trying to track down a giant spider that I found that of course, when I walked away, it wasn't there anymore. So that's not great. Right, Hazel? We don't like big spiders. No, we don't. Yeah. How's it going, everyone? Spooter time. Did you get it? Where'd you find it?
It was back in the laundry room.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Did you tell the people?
I did. Marry the spider? Hell no. Are you kidding me? God.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm home, by the way.
I figured that out. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Grace needed me to do husband things. So, the Wood Elves are set up now. Their firing lines are in position, and you can see they're just melting through the red forces. So we need these flanking Wild Riders to get in there. And we have a couple Eternal Guard trying to peel, but there is a lot of map to cover, right? And this is why it's hard in wide builds to stop cavalry from getting in the back line. You just kind of need to stop them with your own cavalry. Pravenoth Rema is down in the Dryads just because, but it's not really going to do too much. Nets them in place so that they can't dodge anything, I guess, but like I said, that spell just doesn't have any target in this build. Wild Riders coming in hot, Melkot's onto them. A little bit of damage, but it won't save these Glade Guard from getting murdered. What might save the Glade Guard from getting murdered is other Glade Guard all just coming back and shooting at the same target, but unfortunately these guys are moving a little close to their friends, so if they go all the way over there, they're gonna all get compromised by these Wild Riders. And this is really the hope of the red team to win this, because now that you're shutting down these Glade Guard and they're not firing back, the other Glade Guard can get some decent damage out. Decent, not amazing, because there's only 3 of them and one of them is almost dead. But when you're not being counter-shot, because the enemy's 8 Glade Guard are either shooting backwards or they're disrupted, you can get uncontested damage, but it's not proving to be enough. Zotes are busy trying to get through that front line. The Lord is trying to figure out what she should even be doing at this moment. And the Wild Riders are getting churned through. These are Wood Elf cavalry after all, only 40 armor. Yeah, they have silver shields, but a low health pool and 40 armor does not a lasting cavalry make. Green got their archers back online. 3 are still firing freely. 2 are getting freed up in the back line. 1's getting freed up in the middle, so those will soon be back in action. And the Balance of Power is being a little optimistic about Red's chances. I think the health bars are high, but you'll see like the Zotes are going to get disintegrated pretty soon here, and that Balance of Power is going to noticeably shift in Green's favor. And then I think the Lord is next. The Zotes are busy getting yeeted as some of the archers come back into focus. Wild Riders trying to rally, but with Wood Elf archers shooting you in the face, it's very hard to rally. Some of the best archers in the game laying into you can be pretty tough. Capture point is getting switched over to the red team, but that is not going to be what decides this game, or I'll eat my hat. And I like my hat. I don't want to eat it, so I'm not gonna. Because I'm not gonna be wrong. Hey, look, the Zote got deleted. Hey, look, the green bar is a lot bigger than it was before. That's crazy. Literally no one could have guessed how the next 20 seconds of play was going to go. That's insane. Red still has some Eternal Guard trying to participate. There are 3 Eternal Guard are all decently high health, but their Lord's getting a little low on HP. Zotes are leaving. Grace came and stole my phone. It was mine now. Yeah. Blade Lord's not getting shot at yet. It could. It is a tiny eagle model that's very fast and easy to dodge shots, so if it notices it's getting shot at, it can get back in the sky and dodge a lot of the damage. For a more consistent end to for a more consistent end to the game, considering the Balance of Power is so tragically bad for the Reds, I would just focus your archers on the Eternal Guard and get that guaranteed damage and just end the game. But we're talking about how to maximize your win in this situation, not like how you're going to lose the game. But shooting at small single entities can take a long time to get real damage out. Only reason the game hasn't ended is the 91 HP on the Winterheart Guard. And I don't think they'll be turning this around. What up, John B? Android Poetry's here. Is there a goblin shaman riding the giant spider? No. Ugh. Ugh, my lungs are full of bobbish. Archer's getting most of the value here for this build. That makes a ton of sense because they didn't bring anything else that deals any damage. Leodoro just took a ton of blockers for his archers, so the archers would have all the damage. Blade Lord and Zotes, as you can see, like we said at the start of the game, they didn't get a lot of value because they didn't have anything to do. Wild Riders did okay, but it was just not the build Aedo was ready to deal with. Your commitment and consistency is underrated. Never met Mister. I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate the kind words. I will note I haven't streamed in 2 weeks, so I don't know if I'm consistent or great anymore. I think I've fallen off. Jake, every game I've played is Atom Bomb versus Crying Baby, and I'm the baby. Hi, Sagos. Dude, after this tournament, if you want to hang out with more new players and not play them in a tournament setting where you might get some quick battles or some silly shenanigans, I haven't been super active with this role, but on our Discord, you can go to Give Radogre role, just ask for it, and you get a nice pink name. But it gives you access to this chat that only new players or coaches have access to. So you can just like post in here, hey, does anybody want to play some games? And we have people who just hop into lobbies and hang out. We also have the best of one practice pit, which just matches you with other new players, gives you a map to play on. But it's not ranked in any way. So if you lose, it's not like your score, quote unquote, goes down. And then you can also post replays in the chat, and some of our more veteran players will hop in and give you thoughts and feedback on your builds, on your play, on your positioning, really anything. So if you have a hard time in today's tournament, but you are not dissuaded from playing multiplayer in general, we have tons of resources outside of weekly tournaments that RTK hosts, which they do host weekly wonderful tournaments every week, even if I'm not casting them. Let's get on to our next game. Drunk Gargoyle versus Tlon 17. Oh, is that the Red Crested Skink Chief on the Stegodon? It's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's my favorite lord right now. I think Slons are still like technically better. Like pure meta power wise, I think they're better. But that does not mean the Red Crested Skink is bad. And on his Stegodon, man's gonna slap. I don't think a pendulum would have made a difference in the matchup. It alone wouldn't have Imperator, but I think like it would have been better than Melkoth's, right? Another Wild Rider and a Glade Rider would have been better than a Zote. And I'm not trying to say better overall. I'm saying if he had perfect knowledge of what was coming his way, he probably would have made those changes. Not like you should take Pendulum every single time. All right. Another Vampire Counts game. They are not that popular in pro play right now, but they are popular among our newer players. We have Dire Pack and Dire Wolves, Zombie Frontline backed up by Skeleton Spearmen and the Graveguard, including a Graveguard Halberd, 2 Crypt Horrors, 2 Vargeist, a basic Vampire Lord. Not seen that in a hot minute, with Invocation to Heck, Undeath, Resurgent, Sword of Anti-Heroes. And then we have a White King on foot, Scab Scraith, and Heroic Killing Blow. On the other side, for the Lizardmen, Chameleon Skinks, 3 of them, 3 Skink Cohorts with Javelins, a Troglodyte Skink Oracle with Flock of Doom and Earthblood, a Rev Crystal for extra healing, a couple of Feral Cold Ones, Red Crested Skinks, and Saurus Spears. But the real winner, the real big chungus, is the buffed, tough, and definitely good enough Red Crested Skink Chief on his Stegodon. He has multiple buffs, but the main one he got is Colossal Strike, and then some just better stats, I think. But if he pops all of his stuff, as I said in my video, he can get like 70 melee defense, or is it melee attack? Yeah, 70 melee attack and like 60 melee defense on a frickin' Stegodon mount, and then get 16 bonus versus large. His stats are cranked when he does that. 20% damage resistance from his Opal Amulet. Colossal Strike is out. Hasn't popped Warrior's Crest just yet as he plows through these guys, but he'll do a ton of damage. He's a big tanky boy. I think he's cool. I just think it's neat. Look at him go. Look at him. And he's got little dart skinks doing dart stuff, and then he's just so good. Troglodon's trying to shoot at the White King. That's a pretty small target for the Troglodon to hit. You can see he's foot sized. The Troglodon's trying to get in there, but it's having a real hard time getting that lobbed shot in. And this is really good. I recently played against Darth Plagueis, who I think is also in this tournament, and he beat me in this matchup by doing this. He targeted my Bastiladon before the Red Crested Skink Chief, knowing that this guy is tanky and does a ton of damage, like you can see his stats with his Warrior's Crest prop, 72-56, so he's very hard to take down. And then he's going to get healed. Go after the healing first. Very smart. Good priority here from Darth Plagueis in the game I played with him. And then with this player here, who we saw his name, I think it was Drunk Gargoyle, if I remember correctly. It's something Gargoyle, and I think it was Drunk. So he's got the Skink Oracle and the Bastiladon in trouble. And he really needs, the Lizardman player really needs to grab his Red Crest Skink Chief and come back here and make them pay for this. You need to like do a ton of damage to them for every second they're messing with your healers. And unfortunately, this Chameleon Skinks aren't in position to punish this either because the dog's chasing them. The Saurus are busy fighting random spears, so really none of the units that are capable of punishing the Vargheists for this are in position. These cheap little darts, these spears, the Red Crest Skink Chief, any of those units need to be over here and need to be punishing this situation. Now, it's not going terribly for the Lizardmen. We have some Red Crested Skinks. The Bastiladon Rev Crystal is not pathetic. It can fight its way out of a bad situation. You can see the Cryptors are quite damaged. The Vargheists are taking a little bit too. And the Skink Oracle is trying to get to safety. He's taking more damage than the Bastiladon. He's larger, he's easier to hit, and he has less armor. Chameleon Skinks in position, though. They're going to start shooting at those very fragile Vargheists. Low health pools, no shields, no missile resistance, and 10 armor. Any form of skirmish Skinks do incredible damage to Vargheists. So I think at this point, the Vampires probably need to pull out of this situation and find another isolated pick, like either diving onto the Skink Oracle again, now that he separated himself, maybe jump over here and pick off the Feral Cold Ones. But they kind of need to go for like Birds of Prey, Falcon type strategies. They really don't want a grind fight with Vargheists. Vampire counts love a grind fight. Vargheists don't. Vargheists need to go in and out, pick advantageous fights and whatnot. Chameleon Skinks firing for free. Now I'm starting to get worried about the Vampire count's odds of winning with this situation getting lined up because the Vargheists are taking a ton of free damage. The Skink Oracle got to safety where he can heal himself up with Earthbloods, or the Rev Crystal can heal him a bit, so he's not in that much danger anymore. And the Lizardmen are slowly getting through all the Vampire count's infantry. You can see the green flags are disappearing, right? We have Saurus left that are super healthy. We have Skinks left, technically, though they're pretty banged up in a lot of cases, but they're around. So the late game, if the Lizardmen still have a lot of healing, if they still have big monsters and they have infantry, no shot your Dragon Lord can grind this out. But the Dragon Lord is still doing good work on the Bastiladon. He's got a lot of damage out onto it. I want to see that Skink Oracle flip towards casting Earthbloods instead of Flock of Dooms. Notice that he does not have Arcane Conduit. He has no way of increasing his Winds of Magic generation. So every Flock of Doom he casts is really hampering his ability to use an Earthblood. Like, it takes him a lot longer to get 6 Winds of Magic than you would think. Because normally, if you're casting Flock of Doom, you have Beast's passive, but the Skink Oracle doesn't have that because he has a hybrid lore of magic. And you don't have Arcane Conduit, you don't have any of that stuff, so it is pretty tough. Slans have greater Arcane Conduit too, so you're even more used to having more Winds of Magic. We have some Lizardmen units that need to be rallied and brought back to the fore. The Red Crested Skink Chief is taking a lot of damage, and this is where he starts to need some of those heals, but the Rev Crystal still has 5 casts on it, so I don't know what it has been healing. This guy hasn't been using many Earthblood, so I do want to see... No, I do not want to see that. No more Flock of Dooms. We're not worried about that at all. You need to outlast the Vampires. Your Saurus will grind through all of these infantry in time. Your Chameleon Skinks are shooting all of these Cryptors, shooting all the other things. You need to last that long. We need to use some of the healing, my guy. There goes a Rev Crystal. Very good. Good usage on the Red Crested Skink Chief. But the Skink Oracle needs to switch over to using its Winds of Magic towards Earthblood. We do not need more Flock of Dooms right now. Still, things are going well for the Lizardmen. My criticisms of their spell selection aside, the Red Crested Skink Chief is doing exactly what he signed up to do. Taking a 1v5 and frickin' winning it. He is taking some damage in return, but that Colossal Strike is doing really good work for him. He's gotten 2,700 value, just grinding it out with the White King, with the Vampire Lord, sitting in enemy infantry. Nothing can stop this man, because he's on a Stegodon! Go, Stegodon, go! Kill! Murder! Any idea if it is double Scrath like is popular in Dom right now? I don't know if this is the same in Big JP's tournaments, but in Land Battles and Conquest, we have generally limited item use to 1. So if you have duplicate items, it's generally not allowed. The thinking behind that was like, when an item is taken in duplicate, it's generally not for good reasons. Like double Arrow of Kurnos, double Forbidden Rod, double Scab Scrath. It's like, yeah. If someone's taking 2 of an item, it's probably slightly too strong. Generally, as a caster, I've enjoyed it because it's increased build diversity, but it's for sure a preference thing and not like a this has to happen and we have to ban double items. It's a superior way to play the game. It's just kind of like yeah, we tend to, because not a lot of people like double items. What up, Wesley Bravo? Skink Stegadon got 100 kills for the 100th tournament. That's pretty pog. You'll love to see it. We did have 24 signups for today's tournament, or 24 check-ins. I can't guarantee I'll get to every single player before we get to the quarterfinals. We'll do our best. Autumn Chan with the $10. Autumn, it's been a bit. How you doing? Well, been a bit since I've seen you in YouTube chat. Though I guess it's also been a bit since I've cast, so maybe I'm just being dumb. Ooh! Dwarfs. This is a spicy dwarf build. Romeo J23 versus Blech. Dwarfs Khorne. We got some exciting dwarves. No stinky, smelly gyrocopters. No stinky, smelly Thoric Ironbrow. Just good old Chad dwarf energy. 3 miners of blasting charges for the front line. Grim Delvers, Thunderer, ROR with their Grudge Rakers. Behind them, 2 Trollhammers with Trollhammer Torpedo, Iron Drakes, and then 2 Doomseekers, 2 Slayers, a Longbeard with great weapons. Malachi Makaisen with his ammo and heal for artillery, which is usually used in combination with some sort of flying thing, and then a Rune Smith with Rune of Wrath and Ruin and Forge Fire, and then a cannon. Okay. The other side for Khorne, Valkyria the Bloody, very popular. 2 Chaos Furies of Khorne, the Bloodwake Berserkers, Wrathmonger, ROR, 3 Minotaurs of Khorne, then some Bloodletters and some Marauders, and a Cultist with his Bloodletter summon. So we have made videos about this, but I do not like the Chaos Fury. I'm going to pause because I want to mention this. I don't want to miss too much of the game. But I do not like the current deployment of the Chaos Furies by Khorne. They are out in front of their army taking free damage for no reason. They either want to switch positions, right? The army needs to be here and they're still here. And right when the front line is about to hit, then your Chaos Furies go over the top and dive onto the Iron Drakes once the melee units aren't capable of turning around and supporting them. Or the Furies need to go out and around, either forcing the ranged units to turn and shoot at them, but then they're not shooting at the front line, or not turn and fire at all and get flanked by the Chaos Furies. But you need to make a bad decision. Here, you're approaching from the same angle as your front line, and you're approaching asynchronized, so now you're in range to take damage while the rest of your army isn't in range. So the dwarves don't have to pivot. They don't have to do anything. They're just like, oh, neat, I get to fire, you know? So I don't love that. The Furies need to back off. And they backed off a little bit, but you can see they're still in range with the Troll Hammers, and they're still taking a bit of damage. I do really like the Dwarven target priority. The Bloodwake Berserkers are the biggest threat on this battlefield to just grinding you out in the late game. Dwarves aren't great at killing them in melee. You have Slayers for Minotaurs, you have guns for Minotaurs, but killing 32 models of teeny tiny Bloodwake Berserkers is really hard to do in melee. So the cannon's just been lighting them up, and I love that. Really good target priority here from the Dwarves. Good job backing the Chaos Furies off, and now this is more of a mistake from the Dwarves. The Iron Drakes need to pivot onto the Minotaurs. They're way more important than the Furies. So I think at this point, having the Furies at this range is fine, because now it's not great to shoot at them. But they do need to get moving now. The front line is engaged, so now they need to fly over the top, get onto those guys before the Miners to Blasting Charges can get their shit back together. Valkyria is getting a couple shots in the face from the Grim Delvers. Just shotgun shots into her whenever they can get sight. And in come the Minotaurs now. They are the anti-infantry variants. They should do good damage onto the Miners especially. Miners are not great in melee. They rely heavily on their armor and blasting charges, which neither of those help versus Minotaurs at all. In come the Bloodletters to cleave through the Dwarves quite nicely. Grim Delvers, oh, just melting the Minotaurs of Khorne. Some Fury has to get in here and peel. That's why the timing is so important on a rush, right? Right when the Minotaurs hit, sorry for pausing, but this game is just perfect for like rush timing tactics, right? So there's a lag here. The Chaos Furies aren't here when the front line hit, and then the Thunderers had time to get that brutal volley onto the Minotaurs, took half their HP. Imagine the Furies are coming over the top right when the front line hits, and then the Grim Delvers have to pick between shooting the Furies or shooting the Minotaurs. They'll probably shoot the Minotaurs because it's way better for them, but then your Furies land uncontested, and the Grim Delvers never get to shoot again. Now they've deleted your Minotaurs, pretty much. Those Minotaurs are going to rout any second now, and the Furies aren't even here yet. So we saw too early, and then we saw a little too late, and the consequences of it. This Fury was perfect. It pulled back to a safe distance, didn't take any free damage, and then it arrived at the right time and shut down these Iron Drakes. So we're seeing both a good case and a rough case for the Chaos Fury play. And now it's here. It has great target priority. It's just late. So the Minotaurs already took that damage, and they're already routing. But the game is not over by any means. We got into melee, and this is where the Dwarves are going to kind of play like Scaven, kind of play like Grand Cathay. You get really far ahead at first. When you get all that damage out from your ranged units, you get so far ahead. But once the melee grinds on, the question isn't, can you win in melee? It's, did you win enough at ranged to now win the melee? Because Dwarves aren't going to beat khorne in melee. Full HP to full HP. Chaos Fury starting demonic instability crumble. The Wrathmongers got onto some Doomseekers. Doomseekers are one of the better units at fighting back against the Blooded Berserkers, but the Blooded Berserkers will still win, even at this lowered HP point. We still have Marauders and Bloodletters creeping in, a full health Minotaur, and there's a Bloodletter summon, and it is a gorgeous Bloodletter summon. Right onto 3 ranged units, and the only thing to peel for them is a Slayer that's already wounded. The Bloodletters can just ignore that. No ranged fire coming in whatsoever. Ooh, and we have Malachi. That's another balance of power inflation that is not actually that impactful at this game state. You can see he's taking a ton of damage, and every shot he takes, the balance of power is creeping right back because he's not that good in melee and he is very expensive. So the balance of power is overvaluing him a little bit now that we're in melee, right? A full health shooting lord isn't as valuable when melee is fully engaged. And khorne has brought this right back to 50-50. From almost army losses at one point, bam, it's 50-50. And I honestly think I would start to favor khorne here. Now, the Blooded Berserkers are nearly a spent force, and there's a Bloodletter that is very fake. And once it disappears, that is a lot of presence off the battlefield. But the Dwarves have nothing left either. All their ranged units have been routed off. Most of their melee units are dead. We have a couple Doomseekers trying to hold it down. And the Doomseekers are getting really good value on this Cultist of Khorne. They're getting really good value on the Blooded Berserkers, but I don't know if they can kill the last of these Marauders. I don't know if they can kill the Minotaurs. I don't know if they can kill Valkia. That seems like a lot to ask out of them. So with quivering health bars and low leadership, Khorne looks like they're going to drag this carcass across the finish line, harvest that skull, and put it on the throne. Kind of fucked up when in the Olympics, you know? Like that little referee chair that they have in tennis. The referee's up there and they just put a skull on it because they wanted to. And you're like, bro, you won a race, calm down. I don't know why you had to scalp that guy. But you know, it's khorne. They don't celebrate very well. As they push through the Dwarves, as the Doomseekers and Malachi's unbreakable status will make this endgame a little teeny tiny bit awkward. But I do think it is a foregone conclusion at this point as army losses takes hold. I would like to say that I took Malachi's ability by mistake, Romeo J. Romeo J's in the chat! I loved your dwarf build. I thought it was very good. I only had nice things to say about your early game. Doomseeker is getting some decent value. Not something that happens very often. That was a very close game. In the end, it didn't seem that close, like, because there was a bunch of khorne flags and not a lot of dwarf flags, but like, note that 2 of those khorne flags left were Bloodletters, and they could have disintegrated at any moment if their leadership fell. The Wrathmongers were almost dead, the Cultist was almost dead, Valkia was almost dead, this Minotaur was almost dead. So, it really could have turned on a dime. Yeah. Chaos Furies did fine. GG's, boys, GG's. How are we doing on the tournament bracket? Do I need to be paying attention for live games? They've started round 4 out of 5, so we got time. Surely you'll cast every match. Ooh, that's... that might... Sure. Electric Spinach versus Dark Horse. Our first sighting of the Warriors of Chaos and the Tomb Kings today. Let's do it. For the Warriors of Chaos, we have Forsaken, a unit I think people have forgotten about. Forsaken got some buffs, and they are juiced. And then they did not get nerfed. I think people just got tired of playing them. You know, like, oh, okay, we did the 3 weeks or whatever where we try out all the Forsaken with all their buffs. Okay, we did that, but no, they're still cranked. They are going to murder people. So, Forsaken going to blend through that Tomb King's front line, I imagine. Then we have the Slaughter Guard, Chosen ROR with halberds, Rotting Riders, and then some Hellstriders on the flanks. Archaon, the Everchosen, with Burning Head up front, though he is a little overextended, and Ushabti Greatbows are picking him off. But for that Tomb King's build, we have the Eyes of the Desert Sporkle Stalkers and another Sporkle Stalker, Ushabti Greatbows and the Chosen of the Gods, Bone Giant, and then Cetra the Imperishable on foot, not on his nerfed kitty cat, with Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance and Faw's Protection. Then we have Skeleton Spears and Tomb Guard. The way Burning Head did nearly delete an entire Skeleton Warrior before curving around a Skeleton Warrior and back into a Spearman. But in comes the blenders of the Forsaken. And these Skeleton Spearmen do not stand a chance, especially weakened by a Burning Head. Oh, it looks like the Forsaken are trying to attack something else. They're not actually fighting the Skeleton Spearmen yet. They're just waddling through them. So I'll have to get my Forsaken fix elsewhere. It looks like here. Yes. Get murdered. Get murdered by the best medium infantry in the game. Forsaken. Forsaken have lost almost no HP fighting the Skeleton Spears, and they're already halfway done killing them. Oh, love Forsaken. Big fan. Big fan of Forsaken. I have a feeling these ones got shot by the Chosen of the Gods, and then he got hit with the Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance, as they're already almost done with those Skeleton Warriors. Speaking of that, dude, the Bone Giant and the Ushabti Greatbows have murdered Archaon and the Slaughter Guard. Rest in peace to the expensive units the Warriors of Chaos brought, but the third expensive unit they brought, the Rotting Riders, made it to their intended target. They're getting onto these large armored targets, which their anti-large armor piercing will churn through, and the Chosen of the Gods are in real trouble. I think the Tomb Kings are in a very bad spot. Balance of Power doesn't say so, but the battlefield does. Rotting Riders are right where they want to be. Cetra's not able to stop them as much because he is on foot, and their front line is decaying, so soon the infantry are going to start doing this. Like, these Marauders aren't really a threat to the Ushabti, but they are going to stop them from shooting at the actual targets the Ushabti want to be shooting at, and over time they'll get some damage done. And where are you going to retreat? We still have these Hellstriders that have just been lurking, waiting for anybody to break formation, and now they have. The Tomb Guard with Halberds got pulled in to deal with the Rotting Riders, but as soon as they leave the back line, bam, Hellstriders jump right in the gap that was created. So that was a pretty bad lose-lose situation for the Tomb Kings. Either let your insides die to the Rotting Riders or open up a spot for the Hellstriders to come in. So beautifully executed here by the Warriors of Chaos. Nice job forcing the decision on that lose-lose. Like, setting it up deserves credit. But the Tomb Kings really didn't have a good decision there. So I don't think they made a mistake. I think they just picked one of two bad things. They picked a rock or a hard place. It wasn't like, why would you do that? You're so stupid. Bone Giant's getting slaughtered by the Slaughter Guard. Wait, does that mean they guard slaughter? They don't commit slaughter? What? I'm confused. Now, I have been singing the Warriors of Chaos praises, but we do have a Forsaken that has been AFK here for a little bit. He murdered the Tomb Kings in front of him and now is waiting for new orders. Doesn't need to get moving. Hellstriders are back in onto the wounded Sporkle Stalkers and the Ushabti Greatbows that are still left. Chosen of the Gods faded away. Bone Giant is getting close to fading away, and Archaon has not been able to leverage his insane dueling stats because he got damaged so quickly at the start of this that he's just wanted to avoid getting into melee, because he could get too close to Sporkle Stalkers and get murdered. He could take a couple unfortunate trades with Cetra and get murdered. He could get stuck in Tomb Guard Halberds because he's only on a horse, so he doesn't have the most mass and get murdered. He just needs to play it safe. So unfortunately, Archaon is not getting to participate in the violencing of fools. For the Tomb Kings, their last strength is really Cetra and his two Tomb Guard friends. Yes, the Sporkle Stalkers are still around, but I think this battlefield is getting narrow enough that they will not be around for much longer. The Bone Giant is about toast, so that is that. Can the Forsaken, the things I hyped up at the very start of this game, kill the Tomb Guard with Halberds? Yes. Or will the Tomb Guard with Halberds? They won't. Last and defeat the Forsaken. Find out next time on Right Now. They're going to win. Forsaken are going to win. No shot Tomb Guard beat these Forsaken. It's not happening. As Forsaken are murdering these guys. Sporkle Stalker's getting some shots on some of the Forsaken, but not even all of them. The Rotting Riders in the background are healing. And the Balance of Power, you might be saying, wow, Human Boy is certainly saying this is a done deal, and the Balance of Power doesn't think so. Cetra is full HP. Archaon's almost dead. That's definitely factoring into this, but I think Archaon at that HP on a horse is more useful than Cetra on foot. One thing I will note is these Marauder Horsemen should probably just go into melee with the Eyes of the Desert. Trading ranged for ranged with them is advantageous for the snakes. Just get into melee. They're so low, you can start them crumbling, and that'll do extra damage to them. Also, the Rotting Riders, I appreciate that they're just trying to sit on the point and heal, but you already have the capture points. You're not capturing it right now, and they could be getting good charges on these Sepulchral Stalkers and finishing them off. So we are seeing some late game misplays a little bit, but you know what you can't misplay? Throwing Forsaken at literally anything and watching them blend it. Forsaken, baby! You can't make a wrong decision. It's impossible. They're just great. Look at them go. Oh, we're the Tomb Guard. We've been around for 7 million kajillion years. We're the most elite. Get blended by a weird crab man, bitch. Get blended, sucker. Paid for by the Forsaken gang. Rotting Riders rejoin the fight to take out the Eyes of the Desert. The other Sepulchral Stalker is gone, so now these Rotting Riders have nothing to fear but fear itself. Now, they don't want to sit on halberds, obviously, but they'll charge in. They'll finish off the Eyes of the Desert, then they'll do some more cycle charging. Nice burning head from Archaon. And that's going to be that. I'm going to look over at chat now. They're guards that happen to slaughter. It's true. I mean, they do happen to slaughter. Forsaken still crushing it. Guess what they have that Chosen of Khorne don't? Immune to psychology, so they aren't scared of these skeletons at all. I love that Forsaken have immune to psychology and Chosen of Khorne don't. That's crazy. Anyway, Tomb King slowly dying off. I don't know how many more burning heads Archaon has. I've seen quite a few this game, so we maybe have one more in the tank. The Warriors of Chaos are kind of selling the Forsaken out. Like, they're abandoning these guys. The Rotting Riders do need to be cycle charging. Archaon could maybe too. We need other infantry support in this area. I don't know why we keep retreating to the point. You have the point. You can't super capture it. That's not a thing. You have it captured. It's the most captured it'll ever be. Knock it off. Don't leave the boys. Don't leave the boys hanging. They've gotten almost 200 kills for you. As Cetra casts a little spell to help out. Get in there! Help the boys! What are we doing? Why are we just leaving the boys? They've routed down because you abandoned them. How dare you? You knew they were too powerful. You knew I loved Forsaken. You're like, quick, let them die. Then we'll start cycle charging. Now we'll start cycle charging. Now that the Forsaken routed, wouldn't save my boys. Wouldn't save my boys. I hate this game. I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to cast Warhammer 3 anymore. Another burning head out onto the Tomb Guard. Whee! Yum, 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 yum. But here's a problem. This is actually a mistake at this point. Ooh, yeah, that's a mistake. Friendly fire onto the Marauders, but you've saved all your cavalry and you waited for all your infantry to die, and now they have no friends. So you're gonna have to charge braced halberds with your cavalry, because normally you have infantry break the charge bonus and then you can charge in and out, in and out, in and out. And these guys won't get their charge defense because they're being disrupted by infantry. But for some reason, like, I'm not trying to be too much of a dick. It is a new player tournament. People make some mistakes, sure. I'm just frustrated my Forsaken got left on their own. But like, now look at this. These guys have to plow into halberds that were braced for them and they're gonna take a lot more damage, and there's no support for them. So it's like, they definitely should not have sat on the sidelines. They should not have waited for their infantry to rout before participating. That was a big mistake, and they're starting to pay for it. Now, this game isn't lost by any means. I still think the Warriors of Chaos, like, literally can't lose it, as Archaon's going to jump in onto Cetra. Cetra is an anti-large duelist on foot, but Archaon is the best duelist in the entire game, I think. I think he's still the best one-for-one, pound-for-pound, no-support duelist, so... Fighting Cetra on foot, he should still win that. Another burning head is through. It looks like I was wrong about him having one more. He had at least two. It's going for some more friendly fire, but those Marauders have already shattered, so who cares? Forsaken have routed again and again. The Rotting Riders just ditched him. Bro, stop ditching your Forsaken. Just help him out. All right, Archaon charges back into Cetra. Gets a good hit on him with the charge. Cetra's going to swing back, but won't do nearly as much damage as Archaon is doing to him, and the Rotting Riders are here to feast upon the corpses of the Tomb Kings. The Forsaken have been forsaken. It's true. Electric Spinach just like prioritizing his Rotting Riders above all else. He's like, nah, fuck these Forsaken. My Rotting Riders need to heal. Which, like, fair. Don't let them die, but get some cycle charges into. Feasting on skeletons? Yeah, you give a dog a bone. All right. For Dark Horse, Cetra got impressive value for being only on foot. 1900 is nothing to scoff at, so he did pretty well there. Tomb Guard with Halberds did fine. Ushapti Great Bows mixed. The one that was shooting at Archaon most of the game got a ton of value. The Chosen Gods did not have as good of a time. Bone Giant Stalkers did all right. So the Tomb Kings brought 1,400 troops, and the Forsaken killed 400 of them. Let's go. Forsaken OP.
Oh, the Slaughter Guard got 14 kills. Oh,
Forsaken, 205.
oh, but I got 14.
I got 3. I got 6, 205. Well, I'm the Rotting Riders. I'm the most broken unit in the whole game. 13 kills, 205. Eat it. God, I love Forsaken. All right, we already cast that. Just the other player submitted it. Demons of Chaos versus Bretonnia. I don't know if I want to cast Demons of Chaos today. I'm not going to. You can't make me. No, I will. I'm just checking on the bracket, seeing how we're doing. All right. Halfway through round 4. Some people done, some people not. So there's one more round of Swiss after this, and then we'll cast some live top 8 games. Casual 2.2k value on this Chosen. Yeah, they were eating a Bone Giant. McRightface, fine. I'll knock it off. As we have Senfishy versus Quetzalcoatlus 7777. Demons of Chaos, 2 Screamers, one of which is the ROR, Shrieking Sky Rays. Then we have 2 Fiends, 2 Chaos Furies of Khorne, a Herald of Nurgle of Death with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, and then 4 Plague Bearers of Nurgle. Truly a Demons of Chaos army. I think everyone is here. Slaanesh, Nurgle, Tzeentch, Khorne. Yes. All 4 gods are represented in this army. The Dark Gods smile upon us. For the Bretonians, we have some archers, some fire, some poison. Spearmen at arms with shields, peasant mobs. Then we do have the Holy Wardens of La Massatil, the buffed battle pilgrims who are very good against demons specifically. A Guerrero Lake to keep your men courageous. We have a healing caster with regrowth and earthblood. Alberic de Bordelot, Royal Hippogriff Knights, and the Knights of the Lion-Hearted Knights of the Realm ROR with their magic attacks, and 2 more Knights of the Realm on the flank. Soul Grinder doing some good damage onto, it looked like the caster, and then switched onto the Hippogriff Knights. Either is fine, but you do probably want to pick a target and stick with it, because if you spread out your damage, they're going to spread out their healing, and then you get nothing really accomplished. First Earthblood is out for the Royal Hippogriff Knights. Bretonnia is getting sniped out, so they need to change this situation. They need to charge the enemy and get into melee as soon as possible, because otherwise the Soul Grinder is just going to keep firing for free. So I do want to see them move up and get into range. Archers should probably be hitting the Plague Bearers or the Chaos Furies. It Fiends if you can, but that might be a later thing. I really don't want to see the Archers trading with the Soul Grinder, because the Soul Grinder can dodge effectively, and it's small, and it's heavily armored, and it has barriers. Alberic is in versus the Herald of Nurgle. He will win that. He will not have a great time versus all these Screamers, but if there's Hippogriffs nearby to support him, or Archers to support this, then it's fine. But the Archers need to be doing something about that. Hippogriffs moving in as well. Bretonnia, you can see these archers have been firing at the Soul Grinder. They just now got through its barriers. So they do need to switch targets onto something a little more impactful. Hippogriffs are here, and they're going to murder the Screamers of Tzeentch. Screamers might just demonic instability crumble any second now. They're thinking about it. 2 leadership, there they go. That's a pretty big win for the Bretonians. Knights need to get involved. Looks like they're starting to run into maybe Cycle Charge Plague Bearers or something. Herald of Nurgle has landed to try and get away from Alberic, but he just said, all right, bet, and followed him down. As Hippogriffs get into a fight with the Shrieking Sky Rays, and now these Chaos Furies of Khorne come over. But Bretonnia is doing okay. They're in a solid spot, and yeah, archers do need to support that air fight. That'll be good for them. Also with some healing, I imagine. Looks like the healing's coming from the Demons of Chaos. Locus of Fecundity trying to heal up everybody in this area. Meanwhile, we have a lot of knights that are kind of asleep at the wheel. Knights of Lionheart are finally charging. It looks like they're fighting the Fiends of Slaanesh, which is a good fight. But these other ones have got to get active. They've got to get engaged much more quickly than they are currently. Royal Hippogriff Knight's going to get a regrowth here. It could be powerful if they don't rout before it hits them. And they are on fire, I believe, due to the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. No. What is setting them on fire? I I have no idea what is setting these Hippogriff Knights ablaze, but they are. Hippogriff Knights finish off the Shrieking Skyrays. They're going to finish off the Chaos Furies too. That healing clutch to save them right when they needed it. Alberic is still getting a ton of damage down on the Herald of Nurgle, who did throw down a Fecundity as well, so 2 different heals these guys got. We still have some Knights that have not participated in this game at all, and that, I mean, if the Bretonnia player loses, he's going to want that back. As Alberic is still getting good damage onto the Herald of Nurgle, the Soul Grinder's firing away for free. Only 3 ammo left before he becomes kind of a half-assed melee character. And the Royal Hippogriff Knights look like they've breathed their last. They're just 2 damage. They are going to rout, and the Chaos Furies will finish them off. So Bretonnia losing that. On the front line, Bretonnia is doing great. Knights Lionhearted traded evenly with a Fiend, took it out, but they are going to die in return. The Holy Wardens are doing great overall. We still have a lot of archers left, so Bretonnia has plenty left to do. And there we go. Knights of the Realm get a beautiful charge and isolation onto the Fiends. No Plague Bearers nearby to help, no Chaos Furies, nothing. So the Fiends are just left, and it looks like the Bretonnians got the charge. That is really good for their chances in this game. As they die off, Alberic is getting sniped with the last of the Soul Grinder value, with the last of the Spirit Leeches from the Herald of Nurgle. If he can get away from the Herald of Nurgle and just get out of here, he can get a regrowth that'll get him back into this game, and then I think that'll clinch Bretonnia the win, but he has to move, he has to leave. Don't just sit here and fight. Another Locus of Fecundity out, trying to heal the Plague Bearers, trying to heal the Herald of Nurgle. A quick Earthblood Overcast is clutch to maybe save Alberic. No, he's gonna rout, but he might be fast enough to escape the Herald of Nurgle if these Knights of the Realm can keep him on the ground. You can see he's immediately pathing away. He's trying to get into the sky where he can chase Alberic, but he's getting murdered by these Knights of the Realm. The ROR Knights tearing him limb from limb. He throws out a Desperation Spirit Leech and a Glorious Rot onto Alberic de Bordelot, but the Glorious Rot will not do any damage to him. The Spirit Leech won't do enough to stop him from rallying, but the Herald of Nurgle might just be toast. The Soul Grinder can't grind through all these guys on their own. We have 2 Plague Bearers left and a Chaos Fury that is decently powerful, but Demonic Instability Crumbling, trying to take the Herald of Nurgle out of this game entirely. It's getting worse and worse. Can he rally? If not, he's probably doomed, because once you lose your Demonic Lord, all of your other leadership collapses as well. Alberic takes out the Soul Grinder as well. That is going to be GG in a bit of a nail biter. Bretonnia does take it. I was getting worried. When those Knights of the Realm were AFK, but maybe they were intentional tactical reserves. Maybe it was a small mistake that didn't end up deciding the game. I don't know, but they won out in the end, because the demons didn't have any Forsaken. Remember how nobody even knew Forsaken existed before Anticity picked them up a while ago? Nah, dude, I've been spamming Forsaken. What are you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here. I was talking to Kaiju about the Scaven matchup, Scaven versus Slaanesh, and I was like, you should definitely take Forsaken of Slaanesh, and he was like, nah, you're on drugs. You're drunk. Go home, old man. Win for Bretonnia. Very close game. Senfishy almost got Alberic, but he couldn't get out of the Knights of the Realm to get back up into the sky and actually finish that kill. Otherwise, he might have been able to turn things around there. Screamers, I don't know. Screamers are weird. I feel like after their nerfs several patches ago, they've just kind of disappeared from being relevant, and I felt like this game showed why. I felt like Sunfishy got them the fights they wanted, and they still just lost them. Yeah. GG's. Archers got overall fine value. Overall. Knights of the Realm did a lot of the work here. You can usually rely on Knights of the Realm in the Demons matchup, because unless they take Blood Crushers of Khorne, which are generally bad units, the enemy is not going to have a lot of armor, so you can just get the anti-large. My lord was stuck on one horse. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get out of there anyway, though. Like, it sucks being stuck on a horse, but the horses were faster than he is on the ground. Because he only has 80 speed when he's flying. When they're on the ground, they're significantly slower. Looks like we're starting round 5. Yes, we are in the final Swiss stage round. Then we'll get into the top 8. Electric Cabbage. All your criticism and explanation is I'm bad at micro. Okay. We just watched Bretonnia, so I'm going to skip that. I'll come back to it. But we'll watch Darth Plagueis versus Frozen for core, and then we'll go back to the Warriors of Chaos. This is our first High Elf of the day versus our first Nurgle. And I just played with Darth Plagueis the other day. He's pretty darn good for a new player. But he is a verified new player. We've watched him play in these for quite a while. He's either won one or not won at all. And he's improved a lot. So I do think he's actually a pretty good contender to win today's tournament. So, yeah, let's go. Bringing out some high elves. We have Sisters of Avalorn, Talons of Torquelada, and Sister of Avalorn. So 2 sisters and 1 Talons. Front line of spears backed up by dragon princes, including the Fireborn, and silver helms. We have Horse Teclis with Flock of Doom, Regrowth, and his net with a ton of Winds Magic generation. On the other side, for Nurgle, Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, Marauders of Nurgle in the front line. We have Tamarkon on his Toad Dragon, Bilious Thunderguff, Plague Ogres, Plague Toads, Frolickers Bubonic, and No Forsaken. Cast Sorcerer of Nurgle as well with the Fleshy Abundance Rancid Visitations combo that I personally despise, because I don't think you can get enough out of 2 expensive spells. I think you should just take 1 and get what you can get. Tamarkon is about to die as he gets... Oh, so here's the combo. He's netted. He can't move. You get Kindle Flame from casting the net, 20% weakness to fire damage. Then you get Flammable from the Talons of Torquelada. And then all these units do fire damage. So everybody is getting 40% more damage onto him. And he's just going to get annihilated, I imagine. He's already lost half his HP as the high elves reload. Here comes another volley. Down to a quarter HP. Down to a fifth. And the net has now worn off as the final shots are coming in for him. He is going to get a Fleshy Abundance, but it's not enough. He dies. Wait, did he get his... Did his I can't die for a little bit not go off? That's weird. Because he died when he hit 0. I swore, doesn't Tamarkon have an ability where, like, if he gets to 1 HP, he stays there for a while and then he can die? That's weird. All right. Bilious is another tall target the archers are just going to start focusing on. Plague Toads of Nurgle, Marauders of Nurgle not getting through that front line. And the Marauders really just won't. 28 melee attack versus 50 melee defense. They're going to get almost no damage on these high elf spears for quite a while as Bilious is getting lit up. It's looking to be a shellacking. Only goes off if there's a Lord or Hero in range. Oh. That's not good. Another net is out, applying that fire weakness to Bilious, while the Talons of Torquelada also give him additional fire weakness. You can see he's just getting roasted, toasted by the mosted.
What? That didn't make any sense. You're stupid.
No, you're stupid. Bilious routing off. There he goes. And a Flock of Doom is down onto some of these guys. Plague Ogres getting annihilated by the Fireborn, and that'll probably trigger army losses as soon as these guys rout. Oh, it's not as soon as they rout. It's going to be a couple seconds later. Dang. Guess I am just a punk and a fool. There go the Frolickers, demonic instability, other Nurglings, demonic instability, and that should be enough to trigger army losses? There it is. It's all over but the crying now. Who's crying? Why would you cry? Stay strong, son. Darth Plagueis, good build, good execution. I'll take a little credit for it because I didn't take this build at all and I didn't do anything like this, but we did play High Elves Nurgle and I did win it. So I think I'm the reason he won. I think it's all me. Even though his build is not mine. Not even that close to mine, honestly. GG. We'll go back to that Warriors of Chaos Bretonnia game now that we skipped. Buffed Foot Squires versus a crap ton of Armored Halberds. Have you gotten the last replays for Legendary Lord and Faction War tourneys? Legendary Lord, absolutely not. There's still a good amount to go in that one. And then the Faction War, there is one game left to be played that should get played this weekend. Speaking of which, I'm going to ping those two. Yeah, Legendary Lord tourney is moving along. It's a double elimination bracket with like a ton of signups, so it's going to take a while, but we're not in a rush. Grats on the big 100. Thank you, sir. Let's get into this game. This might be the last game before top 8. We'll see. Because, like I said, they're in round 5. And they have been. That last replay was short, but you never know. All right. For the Chaos Warriors, we have Halberds and the Chaos Warriors of Halberds of Khorne. 4 Armored Chaos Trolls. The Slaughter Guard. Wow. A lot of Slaughter Guard today. Archaon the Ever-Chosen with Searing Doom, Burning Head, and then his dueling stats, Slayer of King and Fight or Die. And then 1 Marauder Horseman of Nurgle with Throwing Axes, but that's the only cavalry here for the Warriors of Chaos. On the other side, double Grail Guardians, not Grail Knights, not the anti-large version, the Sword and Board. We have a Grail Relic that has been left behind, but he is coming now with his 40 speed. He will get here. A front line of buffed up Foot Squires, Men-at-Arms Polearms backing them up, Peasant Bowmen to get a little bit extra damage, and then a Life Caster with just Earthblood. Grail Guardians moving into position. There's nothing really to threaten them, like running them down, no Rotting Riders or anything. They just have to worry about not sitting in Halberds. They need to cycle charge the Halberds. None of the archers will do that much damage to our friends, the Armored Chaos Trolls. 110 armor is a lot, plus regeneration behind that. And the Grail Guardians try and snipe out Archaon. Alberic is going to dive in to help out. This could be good, but it's a little risky with the Slaughter Guard right there. Looks like they were just going to take a little bit of poke and run away, but Archaon made that overall a good trade for himself as he's now trying to run down the Grail Guardians. They didn't lose any models. Ooh, nice. Then they can get Earthbloods. Yeah, they'll be fine. Back to the frontline fight. I actually am interested to see how well Foot Squires will do here. The Grail Relic did arrive in time, so these guys are now immune to psychology and have a little bit more leadership and melee attack. A Burning Head goes down the line, curves around. Is it going to hit these other archers? It's flirting with it, and it tries to chase them down, but a good dodge here from Bretonnia is going to get a lot of their archers to as relative of safety as you can from the Burning Head. Dodged it enough to not get these other 2 archers to rout. One of their archers is wandering into melee a little bit. That needs to be fixed. And Grail Guardians trying to cycle charge. Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle harassing them, I guess. Grail Guardians not going to get as much impact damage as Grail Knights would. So that could be a problem. What else could be a problem is buffed Foot Squires still don't appear like they can stand up to Chaos Warriors and Chaos Trolls together. That seems like a bit outside their pay grades. The Foot Squire frontline is already breaking, meaning our archers will soon be dead. Grail Guardians still trying to get value on the backline while their front line of peasants attempts to hold as best they can, but asking your Bretonnian peasants to hold is a bit much to ask of them, it looks like, as the Warriors of Chaos are just cleaving through these guys. Buffed or not, your squires cannot stand against the elite of Khorne. There go some archers. Some are shattering, some are just routing. Archaon's also going to disrupt the archers, and Grail Guardians still cycle charging around, but they're just not getting the value they need out. I think there is a reason you don't normally see these guys. They're not terrible, they're just very niche, and unfortunately cycle charging Halberds and Chaos Trolls down is not their forte. Bretonnia needed to do more rear charging. It does appear to be that way, as I took a little drink of water. Archaon pops Fight or Die to give his trolls enough melee stats to actually get some hits in on these Grail Guardians. It looks like now the Grail Guardians are going to get wrapped up in these trolls. The brave men of Bretonnia will fight their way out, but that's just... Ooh, no, it's not even the trolls you have to worry about. It's the Slaughter Guard creeping in. And now the Bretonnians try and run. You can see they're just plowing into the trolls. Like, let us through, please. Get us away from the Slaughter Guard, who are closing in on the Grail Guardians. It does not look like the trolls want to let them go. Earthblood out to try and get a little bit extra damage in. The Slaughter Guard still marching forward, trying to get hits in. The Grail Guardians are starting to push through, starting to get out of those trolls and get back to safety. Warriors of Chaos have the capture points, so time favors them. If the game drags out, they will win by capture points alone. Alberic cycle charges into Archaon once again, who is down to half HP. It's not nothing. Archaon does pop Slayer of Kings. He should get some really good value onto Alberic as a Burning Head clears out some Peasant Bowmen that had briefly rallied. Alberic's going to try and get out of here, but once again, those dang trolls putting their bodies between him and safety will get just a little bit more damage in onto Alberic. Nothing too sinister, though Archaon chasing him down is a little more sinister. That's a bit more of a problem, as Archaon is shanking the Duke of Bordelot, forces him back into the skies. Grill Guardians countercharge once again. Archaon's health dips lower every time he gets into an engagement with one of these elite units, the Grill Guardians or Alberic, but he is beating them all so far, and they all have to retreat, get healing, and charge back in. So can Archaon keep grinding this out? With that beautiful Searing Doom, I think he might have just sealed the game, as everybody takes too much damage. Too many units are routing. Bretonnia will get army lost in just a second. That's GG. Zirtir versus Gordon Ramsay. Armored Chaos Trolls did fine, but they were mostly just there to be annoying bodies. The Halberds did good work. No side. Buff Foot Squires did okay, honestly. Not incredible, but you can't expect them to like straight up beat Chaos Warriors of Khorne with trolls on top of them, but they got some value back, which is more than I would have expected. Good for them. All right, let me delete that so I don't accidentally cast it again. Let's check on the bracket. Do I need to be attentive? Not yet. A lot of games are probably going to come in soon. Oh, those are all like Faction War and Legendary Lord games. Okay. So we don't have any more new player replays yet. Got it. Let me go find one more. One more for the road. Beastmen versus Chorf. I don't know if we've seen either of those factions today. One more for the road. Archers didn't do enough? Yeah. I think the archers were spreading their fire, but also armored trolls have 110 armor. Which is, as the kids say, skibbity. Pillow Pleaser 24 and Zofnir. That's me on Beastmen. God help me. Hey, it's Jake. Hi, Jake. I'm enjoying some saltine crackers while you advance. Ungor herds, Ungor spearmen herds, Centaurs with great weapons, Tuskor chariots, Pestigors, pretty solid. Butcher's Calc Guard, I have Morslib and Malagor Dark Omen with Flock of Doom and Pendulum. I have Morslib sucks balls. Fight me. On the other side, we have Bull Centaur Renders of Grey Weapons. I need to just finish this cracker because I didn't think it'd take me this long to chew this damn thing. One sec. How was your day, chap? Ah, okay. Cracker's gone. Let's go. What would it take for Cygors to be good again? Better accuracy? Better accuracy, faster fire rate. Just more damage. Be worth taking. Bull Centaur enters the Grey Weapons backed up by Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with spears. Then we have some Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with bows. A couple Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses and Hobgoblin Archers. A Chaos Dwarf frontline, Goblin Laborer backline. We do have a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire in the front line with the Bale Taurus mount. No, that's just a Great Taurus, not a Bale Taurus. He has Burning Head to clear out some of these guys. Okay. I feel like the Chaos Dwarves are missing money. There it is. Another unit of Bull Centaur Renters of Grey Weapons and more Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders. That explains where all their money went. On the far side, we do have an important engagement. Centaurs should do very well into the Bull Centaur Renders overall. So this shouldn't be a good fight for the Chaos Dwarves in the end, because Bull Centaur Renders are very expensive. So they might beat those Centaurs, but they won't do it at a cost-effective way. Frontline is collapsing already for the Chaos Dwarves. A mix of spells from Malagor, plus just Goblin Laborers or poo-poo. So these guys already got through. Nice Burning Head from the Chaos Dwarves in response, though, is going to rout off some Ungor Spearman herds. And we do have these Blunderbusses just waiting for anything large to come near. Like these Tuskor Chariots, they're trying to get shots on. If they can actually get a volley off, they'll do so much damage. As you can see, the Pestigors are also getting lit up over there. Butchers of Calcan Guard and the Eye of Morsleep, the real targets the Blunderbusses want to shoot at, are in the back. They're being kept far away from those Blunderbusses. You can see the Bull Centaur Renders plus some Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders did beat all those Centaurs on the side, which is a big problem. And Malagor is dueling the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, which he should not be doing. That is not something he is going to win. So that's the first real mistake I've seen out of the Beastmen, although the Beastmen are playing generally pretty fine. Nice pendulum to disrupt some of these units. Tuskar Chariot's doing a really good job stopping the backline from being able to participate too much, so that is great. And the Eye of Morsleep is still firing away as best he can. The Butchers of Kalkengard and these other Pestigors are peeling nicely on that backline, just being a nuisance. And look at that. Poison onto the Bull Centaur renders. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Eye of Morsleep. No, don't throw at Goblin Laborers. Throw at the Blunderbusses, you silly goose. Blunderbusses are the only target he could maybe get value on because they're so tightly packed that if he hits, it'll do a lot of damage. These Blunderbusses are going to try and hit Malagor. They get a decent chunk of damage out, but he is teeny tiny. He should be able to fly away and get to safety. Butchers of Kalkengard. Still trying to peel that backline, but they've gotten too far away from the Eye of Morsleep, so now it'll take them an awfully long time to rejoin the battlefield. And speaking of which, the Eye of Morsleep found himself caught. Ooh, Cygors have pathetically low HP. God, this unit is just so outdated. Every new unit that is released laughs at the Cygor. So the Bull Centaur Renders actually have as much HP as the Cygor, and they're tearing it to pieces. Malagor is very low. Beastmen having a tough time. They still have Butcher's Kalkengard, still have this Pestigor over here that can do some work. But they're not going to be able to do enough to like win this whole game. Yeah. Good rear charge onto the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders. You'll get rid of those, and then you'll honestly get a probably pretty good charge on the Bull Centaur Renders. But with the Eye of Morsleep already routing, and the rest of your army looking pretty rough, I don't think you'll have the stopping power to stay in this. I think you are doomed, my son. I think you are doomed. Low HP, wasn't it like 10k? Compared to other monsters total, it has 8,700. I mean, other monsters have a lot more. Sorcerer Prophet on his regular Bull Taurus has 2,000 less. I don't know. Don't Bone Giants have like 1,400? I'm just curious now. Let's take a look at the Bone Giant, which is pretty much the same unit, just more accurate. Yeah, it has 1,300 compared to the Eye of Morsleep. I mean, that's crazy. Gorgon has 1,100. Eye of Morsleep has... Oh, okay, the healing cap was messing with me there. So the Eye of Morsleep has almost 10,000. Almost. Yeah. What does a Stegodon have? Probably like 8,000, right? Oh, Stegodon has 10,000. I think my biggest problem, though, is it's also what can you do with that HP, right? Bone Giant has 2,000 more. The Eye of Morsleep only has 10,000, but it has 50 armor, and it has 39 movement speed, and it's gigantic, so it's easy to shoot. So that HP doesn't go very far. If you look at other big slow units like the Bone Giant, that had 13,000 or 12,000 or whatever. Basic Giants have 13,000. The Rogue Idol has 16,000. So like other tall, slow things. Durthu only has 10,000, but he has more missile resistance and physical resistance and 110 armor. But other slow, tall things like the Cygors, like the Eye of Morsleep, have other ways of deflecting missiles or just more HP. Whereas the Eye of Morsleep has none of them and one of the lower HP pools for large, super slow humanoid monsters. So he just kind of sucks and dies. All right, let's go. Leoduro popping in with the top 4 finish. That's cool, brother. We'll cast some games of yours soon with them live games. Pill Pleaser, not a bad game overall. Not a bad game. I liked your chariots. I think your build needed some work. That was largely it. Zafnir's build is a little better. I think you guys played equally well. I saw equal amounts of mistakes from both players. And honestly, I didn't see that many mistakes. It was just like actual play mistakes. Was the Eye of Morsleep at one point targeting Goblin Laborers, and the Butchers of Kalkengard and that Pestigor getting drawn a little bit too far away from the battle. That was about it. And then on the other side, Blunderbusses got a lot of friendly fire on their own front line before the battle started because they were trying to shoot at infantry over their own infantry, which is tough. And then some Hobgoblin Wolf Raider archers ended up in melee, which they shouldn't have, and died. But then the builds came in. This Castor build is pretty solid. And your Beastman build is solid overall. I just think you have too much chaff, and then the I Have More Sleep is a monster I don't particularly think is good. But, yeah. Pestigors were solid here. The Ungors, unfortunately, just don't have much to do, so I'd probably cut 2 of them and just have 6 infantry rather than having 8. That's a lot of infantry to still not get through Chaos Dwarves. But I think you played fine. So, if that helps. I don't know. When you mentioned before you were getting crushed or whatever, I was like, oh, okay. But then I watched your play, and your play is pretty fine. You will be okay.
So, let's take a look at that there bracket, huh, kids?
I know this looks confusing. It's 5 Swiss rounds. They're on the final one, so we have 3 games left. Dark Horse versus Pillow Pleaser. Smiling Samurai and Electric Spinach. And then we have Romeo J versus Prime. Whenever those are done, which they should be close to done, because all these games start at the same time, right? So the fact that some of them are done means the other ones are probably getting close. Once these 3 games are done, we'll cast the top 8 live. So who's currently in the top 8? Let's refresh this bad boy and go check it out. Standings. Quetzalcoatlus. Oh, Lord Mazdamund on Discord, but he's playing Bretonnia. I was like, is he playing Lord Mazdamundi on Demons of Chaos, but Bretonnia? I'm confused. Leodero, Zertir, Blek, Darth Plagueis, Rokutu, Milky Way, and Amfish are so far our top 8. Now that could change because there are some unfinished games down here. Prime needs to finish their game. They could go to 3-2, and then depending on their tiebreaker points, the Buchholz points. But out of the top 8 so far, who did we cast? We have cast Quetzalcoatlus. We've cast Leodero. We've cast Zeratir. We've cast Black. Cast Dark Plagueis. I don't know if we've cast Rokutu. I have not cast any Milky Way rat today. As sad as that makes me, because we love Milky Way on this channel. I don't recognize Amfish. We saw Gordon Ramsay, but he's currently in 9th. Okay. So Dark Horse could go to 2 and 3. Smiling Samurai could go to 2 and 3. Electric Spinach could go to 2 and 3. Pillow Pleaser could go to 2 and 3. Prime could go to 3 and 2, and Romeo could go to 3 and 2. But Prime is fighting Romeo, so really it's the outcome of Prime versus Romeo is the only chance of getting into top 8. And then I don't know how their Buchholz points compare, because to get into top 8, you apparently need 7 points. Yeah, you would need to go 3 and 2 with 7 points to beat Amfish. So I don't know. I don't know how that works off of one game. I'm not a Swiss expert. One of those games finished up. It was Dark Horse and Pillow Pleaser. Smiling Samurai and Electric Spinach is just nice if it finishes, but since they have no impact on who is top 8, it's not that it doesn't matter. I wish the players all the best. I just meant for our scheduling of the top 8 games, that one doesn't matter as much as just seeing if Romeo J and Prime upsets any of the standings. Otherwise, of these top 8 players, I did shout out Darth Plagueis being not a tournament favorite, like no one can beat him, but if he won, I would definitely not be surprised. This Quetzal guy kind of came out of nowhere. I don't recognize that name at all. So we'll see how he does. He was undefeated. Leodero's Wood Elves are very good. We've seen Leodero a lot recently. Zeratir seems solid. But this Quetzal guy, he's bothering me. Because my boy Darth Plagueis has got to take it all. And Quetzal's coming in here with a steel chair being like, nah, fuck you, dude. I'm going 5-0. Only 5-0 in the whole event. You know what's very possible but sucks when it happens? You go 5-0 in the Swiss stage, and then you get to the top 8 where it's single elimination, and you lose your first quarterfinal, and it's like, god damn it. I went 5-0 and it didn't matter. All right, Prime did win. Prime did win, but it ended him up in 9th. So I think this is going to be our top 8. I believe. I'll see what the tournament admins have to say. You guys want to see my screen blocker for the live games? Bam! Milky Way, nice job. Sorry we haven't cast any of your games yet, but the top 8, we are casting all of their games live. We will not miss a single one. So Milky Way will end up on stream. McWrightface sending the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, sir. Jake, we love you. I'm sorry for being harsh. I just hate the Eye of Morslib. Still better than Moonburned, yeah. Just watch Attack on Titan. Throwing lots of small rocks is very effective. Does she have 12 legs? No, the octopus is 8 and she has 4. They're not the same creature. You fool! Also, thanks for gifting to the channel. You fool! I'll always be nice to people who give me money and call them a fool. All of round 5 is done. We are getting into the top 8 momentarily. Dark Horse just sent me very nice sentiments and I told him he's a punk. I suppose we should hype up some events, huh? While we wait to get into game, what do we got up the pike? So I have to edit. Let's see. Let's expose my files here. So I recorded a 6-part rant about Warhammer 3. I got to edit that up. What's its duration? 11 minutes. So 13 minutes. So that's 24. Top 8 is just getting set up. I'm buying time while they get us lobbies. Okay, I remembered. Shut up. Shut up, me. I don't give a fuck. 8 more minutes. That's 32. Very satisfying. Shut up. 16 more minutes. That's 48. Here. But the 19 more minutes. That's 67. And then 18 more minutes. So that's 85. So it's about an hour and a half rant I have to edit down. It'll probably still come out to being about an hour and 20 minutes, but there's some spots I had to cut out where I like sneezed or coughed or Grace needed something. So we'll get that up on the channel soon. And then for live streams, we have Faction War is 1 game away from the top 4. So I'll do a stream where I cast all the games up to top 4. And then we'll do top 4 live probably the 2nd weekend of August or the 3rd. So we'll do the live top 4 2nd or 3rd weekend of August. I'll coordinate with the 4 players once I know who they are. And then we have the Legendary Lords tournament, which has a shit ton of replays for me to cast. Hoping to cast some of those next week. I'm hoping to cast more. I'm hoping to stream more. I've been trying, dude. If you weren't here at the start of the stream where I gave a little intro, I've been sick. And I'm not going to go too far into that. If you really are curious, just rewind to the start of the stream and I explain it all there. But yeah, I've been sick, so I haven't been streaming nearly as much as I wanted to. I've been wanting to do more streams, man. So I just got to get healthy. This Canadian wildfire smoke has got to get the fuck out of my lungs. My anxiety's got to get under control. Ready to go. Okay, let's find our first game. Looks like Zirtir versus Rakutu, which Rakutu is one I don't know if we cast any of their games so far, so I might have no idea how this person plays. Zirtir we just saw towards the end. I want to say they're Warriors of Chaos, but I don't remember exactly. And there's no spec slot. Dun, 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 dun. I see the lobby, it just doesn't have a spec slot, so we're just waiting for a second. The battle times should be pretty quick, even though we're not doing replays, because there's no pick and ban. It's single faction, right? And then whoever we're not casting first has all the time in the world to sit in their lobby and get their build ready. The first game might take a second as people set up their builds, but after that, the players should be ready for me to just roll through back to back to back. So this should go pretty fast. Let me into the battle house. Gotcha. I am being ignored. That makes me very angry. No, let me in. Alright, I'm gonna check on chat since I'm not getting let into this game. Thanks, Yatharth. Leodero, you're not gonna flop the next match. You got this. Jake, yeah, Beastmen can be pretty hard to play because the low leadership stuff. Aha! Spectator slot! We're in. Sorry for not talking much there. I was typing to the players trying to get into this game before they started without me. Yes, he was on Warriors of Chaos. I was right. And Rakutu is on Wood Elves. Cool. Okay, where's this bracket? The finals are up. Good luck, have fun. I imagine this is on Total Tavern, where this top 8 shit is. So I'm trying to figure out what they're talking about. Can the challenge make a top 8? Is that a thing that happens? Oh, it does! That's so cool! Okay, I actually didn't know this. I use a decent amount of challenge, but I didn't know this. So you want to see the bracket? Here's the bracket. Okay, so we have Quetzal and Amfish, then we have Bleck and Darth Plagueis, Leoduro and Milky Way Rat, and then Zirtir and Rakutu. So we're starting with Zirtir and Rakutu because I didn't know this bracket existed, so I just joined the first code I saw. But, yeah. What the hell's his name? Oh yeah, he's Mazda something. Should get in your lobby and do builds anyway, so that we can just keep on rolling.
Woo! Rolling!
All right, 7 games left on the day. Let's do this. So each of these first games is determined whether or not you get a DLC at all. So it's definitely very important to win this first game. If you win this first game, you get a DLC. If you win the second game and you lose in the finals, you still get 1 DLC. So, yeah. Out of these 8, 4 of them get some kind of prize. Losing here is the only reason you should ever feel bad in your entire life. The rest of your life will be perfect. Besides this moment, if you lose. If you win this moment, then the rest of your life is going to be shit. But you get a DLC, so then that's fine. Does it have a cracker? Oh. I thought this started at noon my time. It started at 11 my time. I kind of brought my lunch to the stream. I had a protein shake and some juice, which I could drink pretty easily without interrupting all of you people. But the crackers are going to be a little harder to sneak past you, so I'm going to have 1 or 2 here in the lobby. Romeo J, I cast one of your dwarf games, man. I don't know. I forget if you were there for that cast, but there was no dwarf hate there because you didn't take any of the units I despise. I don't hate the dwarves in general. I hate specific units. You didn't take any of them, so I was very positive on your cast. I know Jackerskins also is another dwarf player that I really like his builds. He's a very fun and interesting dwarf player. So, dwarves can be fun, man. Jake's saying he's going to stick around with us, which we're always happy to have more players. Hell yeah. Jake, I don't know if you were on stream when I mentioned it, so I suppose we're waiting anyway. I'm going to bring up the bracket again so I don't accidentally show you these guys' builds. But yeah, if you weren't here for that first thing, if you want to play in future new player events, I mean, RTK hosts a new player tournament for Domination and for Conquest every Saturday. So no matter what game mode you like, you can find something you need. And on my server, you can get a Rat Ogre role, which just gives you access to a new player chat. So this is a chat where you can post looking for other new players to play games with you at any point in time, like just casual practice games, not like for rank or anything or for a tournament. You can just find people. We do have a best of 1 practice pit. It doesn't get as much use as I would like, but it is a bot that'll match you with other new players if they happen to be on and in the bot. But we need to get some more people using this. And then you can post your replays here. Even just replays from like Quick Battle Ladder, right? It doesn't have to be on my server. It doesn't have to be in a tournament. You can just post replays like, hey, I fought some guy in quick battles and I thought my build was good, but I lost. Can any veteran player tell me what's up? And we have tons of veteran players who like to pop in and chat and yap and all that stuff. One of the most frequent answers in here is actually Sipa, who's currently the 2nd best player in the world behind Alfredino. So, you know, you could have literally the 2nd best person at this game telling you how to get better. See any posts right here. So, tons of great new player resources, even if you aren't playing in the tournaments, which RTK hosts every single Saturday. Sound good? Let's get you back to the in-game. Looks like we have not started, but we've loaded in. To our first quarterfinal between Rakutu and Zertir. The winner of this gets a DLC, which can be the Tides of Torment, which comes out this fall. If they want it, I will get it for them when it comes out. The loser leaves with nothing. What's for lunch? Juice, protein, powder, shake, and then saltine crackers, because, again, if you weren't here at the start of the stream, I'm not going to go into the details again. I went into it over there, but I am sick today for various reasons. So I don't feel good, so I'm sticking to, like, saltine crackers and liquids. Them damn Canadian wildfires messing with my lungs and my body. for this game. This is live. This is not a replay, so I can't hit start whenever I please. I am at the mercy of the players. We have the Warriors of Chaos with 1 Chaos Warrior, 4 Marauders, 4 Frontline, Chaos Lord of Nurgle with just Fleshy Abundance for his only spell. Then 2 Chaos Knights of Tzeentch that will readily accept that healing. The Knights of the Brazen Throne, Skullcrusher ROR, ooh, also a great target for that healing. A couple Chaos Warhounds, one of them has poison, and 3 Throwing Axes in case of a late game Durthu. But there is no Durthu. We have Orion, King of the Wild Hunt. For Rakutu, we have 4 Dryads, triple Waywatcher, Orion, a Branch Wraith, and then a bunch of mobility. 2 Glade Riders and 2 Zotes. Got it. What else are going to try and kite this out? Warriors of Chaos probably going to take the point and then slow push towards the Waywatchers and force them to use all their ammo before the Knights engage. Electric Cabbage and Rocket Row, my condolences. Rocket's not here, is he? If he is, that's pretty Chad. We love Rocket, but I haven't seen him in a while, so I just kind of assumed he wasn't here. Oh, that bowl of crackers is calling to me, but this game could start at any moment. I can't possibly have I'm having a cracker. All right, let's see if the game starts while I'm still eating this cracker. Because I can't pause this one. Uh-oh. They're moving shit around. Ah, finish the cracker. I'm free. I'm free. I can start it whenever. Pepe Popo. Who's texting me at a time like this? Oh, it's my parents. They're on a vacation on the west coast of the United States, and they're sending a lot of pictures about it. Look at that Nurgle caster just dancing. I saw it just fidgeting. Rakutu typed ready in the general chat, so I think we'll be fine. Marauders! Marauders look really badass for being like one of the worst infantry in the entire game. We fight for Nurglecaster dancing on the west coast. And we're off. These Chaos Warhounds' prime target is going to be those Waywatchers. So in a perfect world, it's top 8 of a new player tournament. So these are going to be good new players, but I'm still not expecting them to get through this game without making mistakes. Shit, I'm a mid-level player and I make mistakes when I play still, right? So we're probably going to see some mistakes. But general strategy, these dogs need to hold off. Their only target on the whole map that is any good for them to fight is the Waywatchers. So what we got to do is have the infantry push up on the Waywatchers, force the enemy front line to engage, and then your Chaos Knights push up on the Waywatchers, force the enemy cavalry to engage, and then there's nothing left to stop your dogs from just eating the Waywatchers alive. But already the Warriors of Chaos are taking a little bit of damage on their Chaos Knights from the Waywatchers. That's okay, it's not great. They are shielded, whatnot, but we really need to be playing this a little bit slower because the Waywatchers are going to get most of their ammo out. The problem for them is if you make them shoot at Marauders or run, because if they keep running, they run out of space, like we just kind of gamed out, right? They can't run forever because soon they're going to run out of peel. So here goes part 1. Frontline is running up to engage the Marauders, so we predicted that. That's good so far from the Warriors of Chaos. That's going just fine. Ignore Orion. Fuck Orion. Don't use anything on him right now. Shutting down the Waywatch is important. Knights of the Brazen Throne, again, now the cavalry is getting engaged. This is going mostly perfectly, but it's a little impatient. This flank wasn't quite ready yet, and ooh, all the cavalry is on this side. So there are still Zotes, there are still Glade Riders to peel these dogs, so it was really close to the perfect setup from the Warriors of Chaos, but just a little bit of problems, and now some of the dogs are waiting for the Waywatchers to run out in the open where they can catch them. but they're not getting fleshed out in the open because these Zotes are still here to peel. These Glade Riders are still here to peel. Now, where that is going well, right, you might be like, well, they didn't send all their guys. Yeah, that's cool, that's fine. Keep your dogs out of range, just chill and win the fight. Force these Zotes, force these Glade Riders to come over and engage you or lose. Like, your Knights of the Brazen Throne, your Chaos Knights, all this stuff is going to beat these Zotes unsupported. And then the dogs can sneak in. So now, right now, the Zotes got pulled over, and this is where the dogs need to be engaging, but they can't, because one dog already routed, this dog's busy dealing with the Glade Rider, and then this dog's committing to that fight. So just a couple mistakes on the Warriors of Chaos execution is costing them a lot. For the Wood Elves, I know I've talked about the Warriors of Chaos, but really, with a build like this and an orientation like this, it's on the Chaos player to dictate how the game goes, which is why I was talking about them so much. The Wood Elves just had to have good target priority with their Way Watchers and needed to block for them. And they mostly did that. You know, we saw that. They got a lot of damage off. There wasn't a lot for me to talk about with them, like, except for the Wood Elves are shooting. So, Orion is currently punking the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, who is going to run away. Now he has slow, constant heal with his Crown of Domination, so he'll be fine as long as he doesn't flat out die. We had some dogs briefly get on the Way Watchers and take half their HP. Otherwise, they're just disrupting them, but the Way Watchers have gotten to safety, and they are now starting to fire up into the Knights of the Brazen Throne once again. For the front line, it's kind of a wash. Neither side really brought a front line worth bringing, so Marauders and Dryads are trading 50-50, and everyone shrugged and moved on with their day. Damage value is slightly in the Wood Elves' favor. The Wood Elves also have a little bit of healing in Earth Blood, but the Warriors of Chaos should theoretically have more healing in their fleshy abundance. So damage value is a little fraudulent when both sides have healing. It's more about what has actually died versus what's still hanging around and coming back. Flesh to Stone helping out these Zotes a little bit, but not against the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, who do have magic attacks. No, the Zotes negate magic attacks. That's OP. Zotes are broken. Nerf, please. As the Knights of the Brazen Throne are trying to cycle charge, they're trying to get on the Way Watchers, and some Marauders here are also getting in here. And where are those dogs going? Bring them dogs back, boy. Where are them dogs going? As the Glade Riders routing, Dryads are routing. This is a big moment. And as we saw in a very early game with the Dwarves versus Khorne, when you have so much expensive shooting, that balance of power can turn on a dime if they get caught at last. We need the dogs over here. The dogs have got to come in. Skirmish Cav, get into melee. Shut those Way Watchers down immediately. This is the moment you were waiting for. Finally, there's no one in your way, and they need to die right now. You cannot let the Wood Elves regather their forces, or you will lose. This is a very pivotal moment if the Warriors of Chaos are going to claim this game. They've been behind all game, but they're scrapping it out, and the damage value is telling the story. I would agree very much. Rakutu is a little ahead, but it is definitely catchable for the Warriors of Chaos. Chaos Sorcerer taking a lot of damage from Zotes. He does have to back off from this, but both Zotes are busy fighting him. They're not currently peeling for the Way Watchers who got run over. Orion does instead. He provides some nice terror, but the Way Watchers, one of them is almost routing, another one's almost dead, and one is full HP. They are firing at the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. It does not seem like the Warriors of Chaos were able to fully shut down those Way Watchers, and they are once again back at firing. Dogs somehow ended up over here. Are these the same dogs? No, they're different dogs. We have other disparate forces of the Warriors of Chaos that also need to be rallied, also need to be brought back into the fight. The balance of power is a little aggressive at the moment against the Warriors of Chaos. I don't think it's that bad. I think they're down. But I don't think their army loss is down just yet, which that is teetering on at this moment. The Warriors of Chaos have almost killed the Zotes. They've almost killed all of the infantry, but Orion and the Way Watchers still have a good amount of health and a good amount of ammo between them. It is starting to look a little desperate for the Warriors of Chaos at this point. Those forces that were previously forgotten are now back. What you could maybe see, I mean, you have 3 Way Watchers, but you could maybe see some horrible degeneracy of the Warriors of Chaos just booking it for the hills and hoping the capture point will win this game for them. I don't think it would, but, like, they could try. There's not a lot of capture weight left for these Wood Elves. As Orion's last call of the Wild Hunter, whatever, hits these guys, Nurgle Sorcerer taking a lot of damage from Orion, but he's just trying to distract as the dogs once again get in here. This time they get big damage on the Way Watchers, getting past the Zotes, but there are still Zotes causing a bit of ruckus, and Terror Routes take the Warriors of Chaos out. I think that'll be army losses at this point. And it was a very close scrap. It was a close scrap, but great peeling for those Way Watchers. Excellently played by Rakutu. And it was a close game. It was a close game. That balance of power was hating for a while, but there were several points where if it had gone just slightly better for the Warriors of Chaos, they would have come out on top. So, not a bad showing at all from Zero Tier. It seems a little dead, Jake. Yeah, that's fair. We're trying to get some more going, but I haven't been streaming as much because I'm a big pooper, and people are waiting on the DLC. Weight Watchers probably got crazy good value. Wow, not that insane, honestly. Orion did most of the work. And Zoats, the big Zoat goats. GG's, lads. Hey, Felix D. Any dwarves in the top 8 Jacker skins? I don't remember, Jack, but we did have some fun dwarves earlier. All right, we got to find our next game. Lord Mazdamundi versus Am Fish. Brett versus Lizards. I'm going to put the blocker back up before I join because players should have their builds ready to go and start the next game, which means we don't want to see that. And then I have to ping Darth Plagueis and Black. Fish on the Lizardmen versus Quetzalcoatlus on Bretonnia. Now, Quetzal did go 5-0 in the bracket, but Lizardmen Bretonnia can be a very hard matchup for Bretonnia. Can be. Doesn't have to be. Bretonnia has some legs in it. They've gotten some buffs since this matchup was literally unwinnable, like way back in the day. But just saying. And one of those buffs is here. I was wondering if the Green Knight would show up. I don't want to say too much because of some of the players are noticing. You know, in the build phase, they could listen to me talk about it, and I'm a more veteran player than most of the people playing here, so that I might have some advice that would be useful to them, which we don't want to give in the middle of a tournament. But yeah, the Green Knight buffs really help in this matchup. He is such a sticky piece of shit to get off of your giant monsters. It used to be that a Shredder of Lustria Saurus blob could like auto in this matchup, but Bretonia's gotten several buffs, and especially the Green Knight. If he gets onto the Shredder, he can be a nuisance. Now, for sure, if you go and do some unit testing and you're like, Human Boy's an idiot, the Shredder beat the Green Knight pretty easily 1v1. Yeah, okay, 1v1, but in a real game where there's chaos and you're not constantly clicking the Shredder onto the Green Knight, and the Shredder might not be facing the Green Knight when the fight starts, if the Green Knight's on his side or behind him, it can take the Shredder a while to turn and fight him, and it can get distracted easily by a couple peasants or so, so you have to just babysit the Shredder and just click Green Knight, click Green Knight, click Green Knight, and that can be tough. So in a real game, the Green Knight is a nuisance for those Dreadsaurians, and any dinosaur, honestly. After his buffs. Before his buffs, he was pretty trash, so not that. Okay. For Amfish, we have some feral cold ones, armor-piercing, monstrous doggies. Cohort of Huatel, Sacred Croc score RORs with their dazed, reducing melee defense and speed. We have Nakai the Wanderer, my favorite Lizardmen Lord to play before the Red Crested Skink buffs. I'm not saying he's the best, I just really like him. I think he's very fun. I think his animation set is awesome, and he's not a bad choice by any means. He has his buff for his allies and his debuff for his enemies. A couple skink cohorts with javelins, a couple Saurus spears mixed in with skink cohorts, and then we have a Rev Crystal for some healing, a solar engine to debuff knights, make them easier to hit, and then we have a Flock of Doomcaster and a Curse of Omnircaster. I am a little worried the Lizardmen are going to run out of damage. This feels a little bit like a pass me the ball comp, where in basketball terms, it's like, oh man, we have Clyde, who's really good at passing, and we have James, who's really good at passing, and then we have Carl, who's really good at passing, and then they all just stand at the edge of the hoop and just pass to each other over and over again, and it's like, bro, who's hitting the three-pointers on this fucking build? Where's the damage, son? It's so much support. So I'm a little worried that they won't be able to kill anything, but we'll see. On the other side, for Bretonnia, we have Knights of the Lionhearted, ROR Knights of the Realm, regular Knights of the Realm, Hippogriff Knights, and Alberic for your armor piercing and a little bit of anti-large. Then we have Peasant Bowmen with fire and poison. So they're just here for support. 2 Peasant Bowmen is not enough damage for anything, but he wants to use fire on anything that's going to heal, and he wants to use poison on anything in an important engagement. Front line of Spears and Peasants, and then we do have the Beast Slayers of Bastogne, Footsquire ROR with a Life Caster, Regrowth and Earthblood. Air Bud's gonna get it, damn right, but who's the Air Bud on this, Nakai? Anyway, Skin Cohorts using their Javelins on the Pox arrows. They didn't bring a ton of healing, but they also want to get rid of those fire arrows so that the Rev Crystal does get out its max usage. Alberic and the Hippogriff Knights have to be careful about their engagements. They don't want to get stuck in a bad fight on top of Saurus Spears. They have a limited amount of healing to get through this game, and they're going to be most of the carry potential. The Green Knight is not happy about seeing the Court of Waddle. He is not happy at all. If he gets surrounded by those guys, their magic damage can punch straight through him, but he is going for it anyway. He's just going about being his nuisance self. And it looks like he's looking for support from Alberic and the Hippogriff Knights nearby, but this is concerning. We'll see how well the Sacred Crocosaurus can get him. No, they're just ignoring him. They're going for Alberic and the Royal Hippogriffs. That's fine. Like, both are good options. Knights of the Lionhearted surround the solar engine, try and shut it down. They won't get that much damage out. They're anti-large, but they're not armor piercing, so that thing should be okay on armor value. Hippogriff Knights taking a lot of damage. Melee defense and Curse of Honor here. Oh, Dazed, Miasma, and Curse of Honor here. These guys are getting cooked on their stats. Still doing okay, and they get some bonus versus large from being near Alberic, so they'll do all right. They're fighting on top of the Beast Slayers as well, so they should be okay. But Nakai powers through. He's going to get some damage out with the Court of Waddle as well. And they're doing okay for now. Where is the Lizard's extra damage, though? This is kind of where the pass me the ball thing is coming into play. It's just Nakai and the Court of Waddle here. But you look around for support, and it's like, I mean, we got some Saurus kind of over here that could maybe get here. And then some Skinks. So where's the damage? Solar Engine's firing into their back, reducing the healing of those Hippogriff Knights by setting them on fire and reducing their stats even further so that the Court of Waddle can get more damage out. But maybe a big mistake here from Ann Fish. His Bastiladon with the Rev Crystal got stuck chasing a Shattered Peasant, and it's very far away now, so it's not around to offer its heal for the Cohort of Waddle or Nakai. Meanwhile, Hippogriff Knights taking a ton of damage. Even after getting all that healing, they took a ton of damage. The Lizardman Trap seems to be working now. Fish is up on damage value, and he has his own healing, so it's not like, oh, the enemy has healing and you don't, so you just automatically fall behind as the game goes on, yada yada. You know, he's got the legs to do this. Saurus Warriors are in here fighting as well, but if that Rev Crystal can't save the Court of Waddle, who have now Terror Routed, if Nakai gets taken out, you're literally out of damage. Nakai pops his buff. Quick Primal Roar for more melee attack, especially for a Saurus. That is insane. 64 melee attack on these Saurus as they are just churning through the Bretonians that are nearby. The Beast Slayers of Bastogne routing now. Knights of the Lionhearted not feeling too good either. Hippogriff Knights have gotten a lot of healing, and they're feeling okay for now, but only 7 out of 12 models, and that heal cap is getting dangerously close. They're not loving it. They're more tolerating it. Skin Cohorts, buffed up by Nakai, did rampage out into the middle of nowhere as Knights of the Realm plow into them, but the sheer mass of Skinks eventually stops the Knights that were trying to get through them. Solar Engine continues to fire, continues to be a bit of a problem, and Amfish is still up on damage value just by a little bit. But Quetzal went 5-0 in the bracket stage for a reason, and as Nakai is getting a heal, Alberic is starting to solo him out. Knights of the Lionhearted are chasing down the Court of Waddle, make sure they don't come back and get more healing. The Hippogriff Knights are taking some javelins on the side. They are not enjoying that, but as long as they stay at 7 models, they can heal up and be okay. Another Curse of Honor here is going out, as it looks like he wants this to be the final engagement. He wants Nakai to get a really good fight with Alberic, get some big damage out, and win this game from here. He's not liking how the attrition game is going and decides to send it all instead of backing Nakai off and relying on some healing from elsewhere. Knights of the Realm and Knights of the Lionhearted all piling up around the Solar Engine, and Skinks are fighting them. Skinks aren't that scary, but also these Knights are not that scary for the Bastiladon. And what is scary is how much damage Alberic is taking. Heroic Killing Blow is popped, Earthblood is popped, but he is already routing, and Nakai has no such issues. This crocodile shows no fear as the Duke of Bordelot is trying to run away with his auto route. Like, obviously he's routing, the player can't control him, but for some reason his auto route keeps taking him into Feral Cold Ones. He's not trying to run away, he's running through. Why are you running through everything? Get to safety, you crazy drunk Duke. His special building in campaign gives him wine, so I'm at liberty to say that. But there's still the Green Knight. I honestly forgot he was in this game at all. He's just been wandering around doing Green Knight shit that he does, and he's still in this game. The Green Knight can easily kill the Bastiladons. The Green Knight can easily kill Nakai. The only thing the Green Knight's worried about is getting stuck in spears until the end of days comes. So if he can break out of these spears, the one weakness the Green Knight still has is he is a horse character. And in my horse and heroes tier lists, people kept asking me, why do you keep bringing up horse mounts? What's wrong with horse mounts? This is what's wrong with horse mounts. He can't move. He can't get out of the Saurus. He's trying so damn hard, but he just can't get to the targets he wants to get to. As Nakai piles through the Damsel of Life, as the Alberic routes for the second time because the Solar Engine is keeping him at bay, and the Green Knight finally gets out of those Saurus, his army losses hits and leaves him behind. The Saurus spears pretty much being a net for the Green Knight, causing the Bretonnians to lose as the Herosaurus come in clutch. Love how I don't understand anything at all. Gotta hope my friend wins. All right, I hope your friend was the Lizardmen. Hello. Because if your friend was the Bretonnians, then I have disappointed you greatly. Because I am a pooper. But that was a good game. That was a good game by both sides. Source Spears did fine, but like, real talk, I honestly think the game was close enough that it came down to the Green Knight getting flat out netted. Because if he was able to get to freedom, he would have been able to snipe out Nakai, and Nakai killed the healing caster. So not only did the Green Knight not kill the Lizardman Lord, the Lizardman Lord then got to kill your healing caster. So since there's no healing caster, Alberic can't come back. Since there's no healing caster, your Hippogriff Knights couldn't come back and get a bunch of damage out. And since you didn't get to kill Nakai, you couldn't lower the Lizardman leadership, tear out everything off, and then run up to the Croxagores, and then run up to the Solar Engine. And like, just the Saurus purely netting the Green Knight caused a domino effect into the late game that just really fucked up what Quetzal wanted to do and got Amfish the win. Very GG's. All right, that's two of our quarterfinals down. I'll get the blocker back up in case we enter the next lobby. And then I will find Darth Plagueis. All right, he invited me. Failed to join invalid code. Well, kiss my grits. There we go. Second time's the charm. We'll join in. Once again, these players have been in lobby for a while, so they should be ready to hit start as soon as we get here. We have High Elves versus Khorne. Can be a tough matchup for the High Elves, but Darth Plagueis might be up to it. And who is our final game, so I can tell them to be ready next? Leo Duro and Milky Way Rat, who are both frequently in the chat, so I would imagine they can hear me, but just in case, I will ping them. All right, I saw the game loaded behind the blocker. I will get there in 1 second. All right. I also pinged the first semi-finalist so that he knows he needs to be ready. But let's get into this game. Nice and fast back-to-back action because the players are all doing a great job being ready. Any shot you cast some more games after finals? Electric Cabbage, I did not plan on it because I was going to go have a proper lunch, and also I am sick and my voice hurts. I want to stop saying words now. I'm later these the finals, quarterfinals. Though I will reiterate the stakes. Remember that whoever wins these games gets a guaranteed DLC. Semifinals and up get DLCs. The winner gets 3 DLCs. But these games are very important if you want to get some kind of prize. So we already have 2 people I know I'm sending DLCs. We have Am, Fish, and Rakutu. But now they can still fight to see if they'll be the winner of the whole tournament and get 3 DLCs, or if they'll drop out in semifinals, but still get the 1. So for Blech and Darth Plagueis was my dark horse pick to win the whole tournament. I think he is very good for being a new player. But we'll see. And here we go. This is what I've been telling you about every time khorne comes up. I say, people just stop taking melee units into khorne. Khorne is so good at blending through anything you challenge them in melee with. So everybody and their grandmother just runs away from khorne. That is the khorne problem. We have Shadow Walkers and Shadow Warriors for some High Elf Kite, backed up by triple Dragon Princes, including the Fireborn, a Prince on his Dragon, and then we have a Mage of Life on foot, which is a little risky, because without her horse mount, she could get run down. On the khorne side, to withstand the Kite, we have 3 Chaos Furies of khorne, 2 Chaos Knights, 1 Marauder Horse with Throwing Axes, 2 Minotaurs, double Chaos Warrior with Halberds, and Scarbrand the Exiled with his Rampage. If he can get into range to rampage some of these, actually anything, that is really scary. Not taking Valkia here is probably going to mess with the High Elf's plan just a little bit, because if Scarbrand rampages anything, it screws your whole plan over, because all you want to do is charge your Dragon Princes in, give the Shadow Walkers and Warriors some space to kite away, and then run away. But if Scarbrand locks your Dragon Princes in, you're all of a sudden in a fight you didn't want to stay in. Chaos Knights of khorne take a quick fight with the Dragon Princes. It's going to be a bit of a wash. Dragon Princes are getting the better of it right now, but overall neither side has that much armor piercing or anything. But Scarbrand's got to go get involved. He's got to get a nice, sick rampage off or something as Darth Plagueis gets a good breath attack down the Chaos Knights of khorne. But you can see those Dragon Princes aren't getting out of this unscathed, and Scarbrand's getting close to rampaging something. But I think Scarbrand's... I really don't want him to tunnel. I don't want him to look for the perfect rampage. Get good rampages. Just get them over and over and over again. Pick off guys like this. Now these Dragon Princes are screwed, because they're in a bad fight, and if they ever try and run away, Scarbrand's just going to pop that rampage, and they're stuck here on top of Halberds. So that's 1 Dragon Prince gone. Now, is there criticism of the High Elves? Sure, they didn't get rampage. They stayed here too long of their own accord, for sure. But I'm saying that now khorne has him where he wants him. Chaos Fury is sacrificing their lives to buy some time, push these Shadow Walkers back. There is a rampage, but it's unfortunate because the Prince is already fighting something in the sky, and yeah, he's gonna land. He's landing his Chaos Furies to try and drag that Prince down to the ground and get the rampage off, and the Prince lands in the middle of Scarbrand and all the Minotaurs. But does he kill the Prince instantly, or is it a bait? Because that can happen. You can tunnel too much on this, and then all 5 of these skirmishers can shoot into the blob. The Fireborn can charge back in, so you really got to get that kill nice and quickly, and it looks like they are for now. It's looking good for now. I'm just saying, if that Prince gets back up into the sky, this could end up being bad for khorne. So it's risky, but it has a high, there's a high reward if the risk pays off. But you can see what I was worried about. The Fireborn are shredding these Minotaurs. The skirmishers are doing so much damage. We're losing Chaos Furies. We're losing Chaos Knights. We're losing Minotaurs. And that Prince has to die, or this was a big mistake from khorne. Because the High Elves have healing. They can just top him off when he gets back up in the sky, which he might not do, though. Scarbrand is making good on his promise. The Prince has shattered. Does he die? Shattering's still very good. Shattering is very good, but if he dies, you get that extra leadership debuff. As the Shadow Walkers continue to kite away, damage value is exactly even, as the Prince is not going to die. It looks like he's just going to shatter, and honestly, Scarbrand, I wouldn't chase him too much more at this point. Just focus on fighting those Dragon Princes. I have no idea who's in the lead. This game has been too chaotic, and the builds are not what I'm used to seeing, so I don't really have, like, the muscle memory to know who's winning at this moment. This is bad. Minotaur's getting rear charged by the Fireborn. No support for them around, and they're getting shot by the skirmishers. That's a really big win for the High Elves in that micro engagement. And now we're starting to run into issues. The khorne build is getting very small. We have 2 halberds, Scarbrand, and that is about it. Everything else for khorne is dead. For the High Elves, we have 5 skirmishers with a good amount of ammunition left, and the Fireborn. Scarbrand needs to get a crucial rampage here, or this game might just be over. The Fireborn need to die if he has any hope of winning this at all. Though I don't know, it might already be outside of Blech's control. Those skirmishers are doing a lot of damage, but if you could rampage those guys and maybe the Healthcaster too, kill all of them, maybe in the late game, these 5 Shadow Walkers and Warriors just run into this Chaos Warrior with halberds and lose because they can't beat it in melee. But that rampage didn't happen, and now the healing and fireborn cycle charging can continue, and that just gets me very concerned. Oh, these aren't Chaos Warriors. These are Khorne Gores. That one's a Chaos Warrior, but this is just a Khorne Gore. Good rampage from Scarbrand. Brings these wounded Dragon Princes right back to him so he can get some damage out, but that means it's going to be on cooldown, so the Fireborn are free and clear to do whatever they want. Archers pouring a ton of damage into Khorne Gores and the Chaos Warriors with halberds. I'm a little concerned if they don't finish off Scarbrand. If they get a little too liberal with that ammo usage, you could get into a late game situation where Scarbrand stands on top of Chaos Warriors with halberds and just murders all of you. That's a real thing. Also, it's not like Khorne has that many kills to get because the enemy troop count is so low, but I haven't seen any Horns of Khorne or anything. So a late game Sword of Khorne on a bunch of out of ammunition Shadow Walkers and Warriors is not unheard of. Now I'm grasping at straws. I would definitely say from this point, I expect the High Elves to win 85% of the time this plays out, but I'm just pointing out the 15% of ways Khorne can turn this around. Another thing to consider is this is Conquest. If the High Elves really try and drag this out, like Khorne dodges beautifully, and the High Elves hold their ammo until they get more guaranteed shots, yada yada, and they dance around. I mean, Khorne has the point, so you're gonna have to do something about that. Scarbrand, yeah, he's doing his best to just duck and move, dodge around as many shots as possible. 4 volleys, 2 volleys, 4 volleys, 7 volleys, and 6. Still a lot of ammo, and Scarbrand's down to 2,300 HP. But Black is doing a good job dodging. He's doing a real good job dodging. Those Fireborn are the only real problem in melee. You don't care about these. Like, this Chaos Warrior right here can honestly kill all 5 of these archers if they run out of ammo in melee. It's not a problem at all. Big thing's going to be those Fireborn. Scarbrand took half of his remaining HP on that nasty volley. For the High Elf archers, though, 2 volleys, 1 volley, 5, and 4. They are depleting their ammunition. They are getting so close in the balance of power to army losses. Scarbrand takes a couple little tickling shots from those guys. Archer's still pouring fire into him. He hasn't dodged in a while. Takes a little too much damage there. Demonic instability is coming for him, and if he dies, the balance of power is definitely going to go too far away, and Khorne gets kited to a loss to the Shadow Walker and Warrior collaboration. You're sick and tired of not casting the Cats versus Dogs tournament. I didn't know there's a tournament for it. I thought it was just like playing the games on ladder. That was a very good kite build from Darth Play, I guess, and it was pretty darn well executed. A couple mistakes here and there, but they weren't punished hard enough to cost him the whole game. Like the Prince getting murdered was pretty intense, but yeah. This kind of game happens to Khorne a lot now. After people learned that just fighting them in melee is a lost cause, most people run for the hills. Did Khorne use any army abilities? I don't think they did, and if they did, I didn't see it, but he didn't generate that much because the High Elves didn't bring that many units for him to kill. So he honestly might not have gotten even a tier 1 charged up, and that's just kind of how people play against Khorne. All right, we're on to our last quarterfinal. And I have to go find Milky Way and Leadero. I imagine Leo might have typed out the code earlier. Maybe I can find it. Oh, found it. Milky Way actually hosted. What the hell? I typed in the code and it had me joining the game. Why are we joining the game? It should be full and let me get a spectator slot. No response from host. Yeah, no shit. I dodged. Okay, there's Leo's code. Maybe they ended up in his lobby. Yeah, there we go. Blocker back up. Final quarterfinal. Who will be joining? I'm trying to remember the first faction. I know we have High Elves. I know we have Lizardmen. Wood Elves. Oh boy, is it a Wood Elves Yeah, it would be. These guys are both on the bottom of the bracket. So the bottom semifinal could be Wood Elves, which would be pretty hilarious. So for roster diversity, I'm rooting for the Scaven. But as far as actual players, I don't care who wins. It's fine. We're here with Scaven Wood Elves. Darth Plagueis and Amfish are the first semifinal. They should be getting a lobby together. If either of you can hear me right now. Should be getting a lobby together so that we can pop up there. You are next. Boop. Here we go. Skaven Wood Elves. A pretty even matchup, all things considered. Wood Elves have multiple ways to play it. Skaven have like 2, maybe 3. So it is a little more predictable what the Skaven are going to bring. But build to build, I think the Skaven are stronger. Like, so if you, as the Wood Elves, don't bring something that counters what they bring, they can generally do a lot more damage to you. So the Wood Elves have more ways to play it, but they have to pick one of the ways to play it that is strong against the Skaven. Eric, you tried. You tried damn good. Shadow Warriors can 2v1 a Chaos Warrior Halberd unit. Not if that Chaos Warrior Halberd unit is blending through all them and gets a Sword of Khorne. All right, for the builds, Leodero and the Wood Elves, we have some Glade Riders, some Wild Riders, front line of Dryads, more Wild Riders, and then a crap ton of Glade Guard, Starfire Shafts, Hagbane Tips, and regular. A Dark Caster with Channeling Staff and Blade Wind. Was Doombolt banned this tournament, or is just no one taking it? Doombolt is banned. Got it. Understood. I just went and read the tournament page. Wood Elf 20 stack sounds very scary for Skaven, though. Avalanche Mortars go burr. On the other side, for the Skaven, we have 3 Skaven Slave Slingers, the Avalanche Mortars, Natty Booba Sharpshooters, 2 Poison Wind Globes, a front line of Clan Rats and Clan Rat Spears. And then we have Icket Claw on his Doom Wheel with Flensing Ruin and Howling Warp Gale. Very classic build for him. And a couple Rat Ogres that I forget if I mentioned or not. This is a nice, straightforward Skaven build. It's pretty standard. And it's standard for a reason. It's strong. So one thing the Skaven are going to have to do is it's generally just damage recognition. So at the start of every game, you need to figure out if you're going to win the ranged fight or not. And they can't hold this exact position, let the Glade Guard get in range, and then the Glade Guard starts shooting at your Avalanche Mortars and stuff for free. And then you start moving forward, because it's too late. They're already in range, right? So the Skaven are going to have to push their front line out to keep the Glade Guard far enough away that you can't counterfire. But then you open up yourself to these Wild Rider charges. That's kind of like the give and take. It's, do you stay tight and keep the cavalry at bay, or do you spread out and keep the archers at bay? Avalanche can kill an unlimited amount of chaff if they have time. Exactly. Avalanche would go even more burr on elites, though. True. True. But Wood Elves can go 3 Way Watchers, so you can't see them until they get into range, and then they can kill the Avalanche very quickly. Wood Elves can go Great Stag Knights, who aren't nearly as susceptible to globes or Avalanche Mortars. So... Yeah. There are things Wood Elves can do. I do consider this to be an even matchup, as we kind of rambled about at the start, but it's like, Wood Elves have more options, but they need to pick an option that counters the Skaven, otherwise the Skaven kind of have build to build stronger. Because globes are really strong versus wood elves. Avalanche mortars are generally strong versus all elves. Flensing Rune is great versus almost all of the wood elf lords except for Durthu. And it's still fine. It's one of the best spells in the entire game, but Durthu has enough HP that he can usually just kind of tank through it and be fine. He doesn't like it, but he'll be okay. This is a Dark Caster, so the Spellweaver of Dark is going to have to stay the hell away from Ikit Claw, or she's dead in like 2 overcasted Flensings. I suppose it got nerfed, but still. Natty Bubo is starting to tee off onto the Dryads. And there go the Avalanche Mortars too. But here is what we talked about at the start of the game. The Skaven are not moving, so the Glade Guard are going to run up and try and get in range and start counter-firing. So the Skaven are going to try and hold a defensive position. It looks like they're starting to move up now, trying to buy a little bit of space. Can the Rat Ogres be in the right positions to stop these Wild Riders? Globes too, honestly. Globes need to focus on the Wild Riders, not the Dryads. Looks like they are. Skaven Slave Slingers, 200 gold chaff to just get in the way, and there is the nasty damage of the Skaven. Wild Riders take half their HP on the charge with Rat Ogres and the Globes. Elsewhere, Dryads getting through a wounded front line as a Blade Wind took out a Clan Rat in time, but yeah, Milky Way did not buy enough space, so now these archers are in range. This is one of the things we were worried about. The nice tight formation is great for deterring the Wild Riders and Glade Riders. The Wild Riders and Glade Riders are getting nothing done, and it is pissing the Wood Elves off to no end. But the sacrifice for that is now the archers are in range, and the archers can do what the Wild Riders would have done if you had spread out. So nice job by Leo to get in range, shut down the Avalanche Mortars, and now the Nanabubos are next. And they are getting spotted, so their snipe is not going to save them from these archers for now. Ikit Claw, speaking of getting in range, did get in range of the Spellweaver of Dark through a Flensing Ruin on her, though she is taking shockingly little damage from that. Now it's starting to tick, but that damage is looking low. What the hell? Okay, whatever. Okay. I won't focus on it too much, but that don't look right. That don't look right, son. It did nothing. That was an overcasted Flensing Ruin. Is doing no damage. Oh, she's on a unicorn. Oh, she has 40% spell resistance. Ikit Claw is fucked. He has nothing. Oh, that is crazy. He can't kill her at all. Wild Riders trying to run around the back line, run down any of these routing Skaven, and now the Skaven are in huge trouble. I think they're doomed from this point, personally. I didn't want to put my foot on the scale because one of the players was telling me I need to stop telling players how to play the matchup in the loading screen because you could be listening. So I didn't want to put my thumb on the scale too much, but I do think the correct way to play these builds was for the Skaven to push their Clan Rats forward, and just I mean, your micro needs to be on point for sure, but the Rat Ogres and the Globes had to be enough to stop the Wild Riders because letting the Glade Guard get in range of your ranged units is just too high a cost to pay for staying tight. You can't do it. But I didn't want to say that that's definitively the right thing to do when players were just sitting there because someone could be listening to me. Fair. Anyway, Skaven aren't out of this yet on the balance of power. I just worry that their battle lines are too fucked at this point. Rat Ogres taking a ton of damage and getting isolated. Wild Riders and Glade Riders running down a bunch of routing units is getting pretty tough. Ikit's still very healthy, and he is causing a lot of disruption. He's actually doing a ton of damage to these Glade Guard, but the Glade Guard have done their jobs. Glade Guard did a lot of damage to Rat Ogres. Glade Guard did a ton of damage and got rid of the Avalanche Mortars, Natty Bubos, all that stuff. Wild Riders should be able to clean up from this point on as Ikit throws out a Flensing Ruin onto the Wild Riders, realizing, honestly, good on him to notice that that Spellweaver took no fucking damage and not wasting another Flensing Ruin on a Unicorn caster. Proud of you. And actually, hold on, can Ikit just carry this game? I'm realizing now there's not a lot to kill Ikit in melee. My normal default is Ikit will lose eventually in melee, but these are the Wood Elves. Not like they have Zotes or Great Stagnites on this map that could just kill him no matter how low they are in HP. Hold on. Hold on. Human Boy might have counted the Skaven out too early. Never happened before in my entire life. Rat Ogres being a nuisance, running down some of the Glade Guard, especially with Ikit as well, causing issues. Both sides just harassing the other side's backline with either... These Dryads are kind of vibing in nowhere's lands. They'll come back eventually. But Wild Riders and Glade Riders running down any of the Skaven that route. Rat Ogres running down any of the Wood Elves that route. Wild Riders do catch out some of those Rat Ogres, though, and that should allow a couple of these Glade Guard to come back, finally forming a little pocket of damage the Wood Elves can rely on. These Wild Riders are going to be crucial. I know they're very low on HP, but the seconds that they can buy these Glade Guard to shoot at those Rat Ogres could be game-winning. So Wild Riders, very clutch, jumping in onto those Rat Ogres, getting some decent damage down, but mostly holding them in place for the Glade Guard to do most of the damage and get it to be just Ikit Claw who's running you down, because then maybe anybody who's not immediately getting attacked by Ikit can turn and fire, but with Rat Ogres and Ikit, that's just double the amount of disruption. But a Brass Orb from Ikit Claw, plus his charge shattering a different one. Leodaro's archers are abandoning him when he needed them most. Other Wild Riders were going for a charge, but they lost their charge. Did they lose attack orders, or did he reconsider it? He's reconsidering it. Yeah, he's trying to run away. He didn't want to fight Clan Rat Spears and Rat Ogres. Very fair. This Dark Caster does only have Blade Wind. She does not have Doombolt as it was banned. She also doesn't have Soul Stealer, so she doesn't have any form of guaranteed single entity damage. We do have a nearly full health Dryad. We also have a nearly full health Scaven Slave Slinger and a healthy-ish Clan Rat Spear, all off in nowhere. They've all handshook to just be done with this game. None of them are going to participate. As another Flensing Ruin comes out onto Glade Guard, I find the Flensing Ruin target priority very silly, but it makes sense after we learned that that lady's on a unicorn. It just looks funny. A relatively healthy Glade Guard is currently shooting some Rat Ogres, getting good damage out, but it is just going to be pulped by Ikit Claw's Doom Wheel, so its health doesn't really matter that much. Can the Wood Elves muster enough gumption to beat Ikit in melee later? I wonder. Glade Guard not going to stop and shoot at Ikit. Maybe that would have been the right choice, but for now they just got their last shots off onto the Rat Ogres, and then they get run over. They will be routing any second now. Wild Riders kill off some Clan Rats, and more Clan Rats catch a couple Glade Guard with Hagbane tips who had rallied but not been given new orders. If those Dryads were not at the corner of the map, they would be very helpful to killing off Ikit. They are not here, so we're going to rely on a Spellweaver on a Unicorn and a very wounded Wild Rider, a decently wounded Glade Rider to finish this game out. Man, those Dryads and those Slingers are gone. Those guys are way gone. What up, Caradoc? Been a while. I'm late. How it's gone so far, Garrett? Pretty good. We've got some pretty exciting epic games today. Who'd win? A mad human-sized rat engineer or My Little Pony? If it's in Elder Scrolls, My Little Pony, unicorns are ferocious. Ikit did abandon these Glade Guards. They could come back. They're not Starfire Shafts, however, so they're not armor piercing. Very nice Blade Wind to clear out some of the Clan Rats that could have been threatening. Now Ikit's going to finish off Dryads too, but getting rid of that extra support is nice. And the Wood Elves, oh, the Wood Elves could be so sneaky. If Ikit's all that's left in the late game, his capture weight is so garbage that the Dryads in the trees could just stall this game out till they win on the capture point. Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. This game's on a knife's edge. The Glade Guard, honestly, yeah, I would shoot the Clan Rats. You know Ikit's gonna catch you. You're not even the armor piercing variant. Just make sure those Clan Rats keep routing and capture that point. Dryad's gonna catch some Scaven Slave Slingers in the woods. I don't think Milky Way knows these guys are here either, because they haven't moved in the longest time. But the Dryads catch them, and Glade Riders look to be coming in to hit them in the back and rout them. No, they're gonna go catch something else. That does seem to be the Wood Elf play. The Wood Elves seem to be going for, I dare you to capture the point somehow. Another Blade Wind is used to make sure that Clan Rat is gone and make sure the lady doesn't have to chase them all the way down. Glade Riders shatter off the last of the stuff over there. Skaven Slave Slingers running now from the Dryads, who just finished off some Clan Rat Spears. And what's going on over here? Whoa, too far, too far. Ikit realizes he has to do something about this point, because he's not going to be able to army loss the Wood Elves before the point matters. Something has to be done. He has to capture it for a brief moment or something, because those Dryads are too far away and they're not going to die fast enough for that to be how this game ends. The Spellweaver is trying to get some free shots in while she has Dryads distracting the Doom Wheel, but if the Doom Wheel turns towards her, it is actually a better combatant than she is, so she shouldn't want to deal with that. Ikit's trying to ignore her at his own peril. He's it's tough. Do you let the archer shoot you for free, or do you let this lady hit you in the back for free? And it looks like he's going with hit him in the back for free. Unlimited Power does do some overcast damage, but he gets a little bit more Winds of Magic. Maybe he can get off another Flensing Ruin. she has 40% spell resistance, but like damage is damage, I guess. He's just gonna throw it on himself, get some damage out onto the Glade Riders and the Glade Guard, but he attaches it to the ground, not to any unit. So it does stay behind and doesn't get that much damage out, but it dissuaded the Glade Riders, who then tear her out, and he can immediately charge them. But the real winner of this game is ticking. Just over 2 minutes left in this game. Ikit Claw's got to do something. Skaven Slave Singers are still trying to arrive. Dryads are not. Dryads are not trying to arrive. I wonder if that's intentional. Like, it could be. It's legitimately a real strategy to just fuck off with your Dryads, keep balance of power out of Ikit Claw's hands so he can't run them over, so he can't rout them. Because if the Dryads rout, you'll lose a ton of balance of power. And just hope that Ikit Claw can't take this in time. Because look at how slow that is ticking up. He has 2 minutes left. Can he even take this in 2 minutes? And if the Glade Riders charge over here, or if the lady charges over here and just harass him for a second, they'll delay that even further. Look how long it's taking the poor man to go up. And she just blade wins another Skaven Slave Slinger, getting rid of that. So the Glade Riders, even if they tear out instantly, they tear outed recently, they shouldn't tear out instantly, but even if they do, the whole point is just put your bodies on the conquest point, even for 3 seconds. Just fuck with him. Just fuck with Ikit Claw, because he can't do it, because he can't capture it fast enough. He would if you left him alone, but the Wood Elves aren't going to leave him alone. And the balance of power tactical reserve Dryad that just needs to not die is doing great. Doing great at just staying alive. In case Ikit somehow kills all these guys, you got them. You will not get army lost this day. You will harass that point, and Ikit ain't taking shit. Look at it. Look at it. It's balanced out. It's balanced out. And then she's going to run away. But she wasted some crucial time. 1 minute left, and Ikit is barely just around half on the capture point. And again, she comes back into the capture point. Again, she fucks with him. He gets a good charge on her. He gets a couple good attacks. He gets a Cleansing Ruin. This is why the Dryads are important. You might be like, well, shouldn't the Dryads be there? No, because the Dryads and her cannot beat Ikit in melee. And if they were here, there's a chance that they die. They are way more useful just being alive and too far away to catch. That is all they need. As she is running around, she is messing with Ikit Claw. The Dryads are out there just being chill, just vibing, and he cannot capture it in time. 15 seconds left until he loses. He's a rat in a cage, spinning his wheels, and he forfeits. Milky Way throws in the towel and says, fuck you, dude. I can't take this point. Onward, Milky Way and Darth Plagueis? Nah, it's Leodero. Leodero, the Wood Elf player. Garrett, we'd be happy to have you. GG's. Very good game by both. It came down to the wire. I wrote the Scaven off very early, but they definitely came back and made me shut up. They didn't win the game, but they made it much closer than when I was like, all right, GG. They lost. Milky Way, you did great. You did great. Glade Guard got a lot of value. Wild Riders and Glade Riders did their best. Very close game from both players. GG's. We will have a Wood Elf semifinal, but I am on my way to the other semifinal as we have High Elves versus Lizardmen. This is the semifinal, so all 4 people have now qualified to get one of the DLCs I am offering, but we will now find out who's going to win this all and get 3 DLCs. Well, we won't find that out now. This is a semifinal. Amfish and the Lizardmen versus the High Elves. We know whoever wins this faces Wood Elves because the bottom semifinal is Wood Elf, Wood Elf. Oh, we're already in the game. Shit balls. There we go. Here we go. I just want to message the other Wood Elf boys. So we're in the semifinals. I just told the two Wood Elf players to find a lobby and start doing some builds as we cast this game that is just getting started. Finals, there will probably be a little teeny tiny bit of a delay because there's no possible way the two players could get together and build their builds ahead of time, as one of those players will join the lobby after winning the second semifinal. So but we should have 2 more games of that nice and fast. Turn around. Mind Flayer Hazel. We are all Amfish. All right. Zoe is very excited about Amfish. Zoe, I have to tell you, everybody else in this chat hates Amfish. You'll never know what they did. If you weren't here earlier in the stream, you'll never know what they did that turned us all against them. It was horrible. It was so horrible, I can't even say it on stream. It got me canceled. I'll never stream again because of Amfish. This is my final stream. I wish them nothing but the worst. I'm joking. This is my first interaction with Amfish. They seem fine. Turin is live. Boo! Boo! Don't steal my viewers. Don't do it. Go watch Turin after we finish this. Come on, we only have 3 best of 1s left. Don't leave me for Turin. Don't do it. Don't. No, it's fine. You can do whatever you want. All right. We are in to our first semifinal for the Lizardmen. 2 Saurus, 1 skin cohorts, 4 more skin cohorts with javelins, 1 Razordon hunting pack, armor-piercing, low-fire missiles. Then we have a solar engine and a rev crystal, Nakai and his cohort of Waddle, a Flock of Doom, Manticore summon, and Curse of Honor here caster, and then some Feral Cold ones. For the High Elves, on the other side, Spearman frontline, Techless once again with his Net combo, Net, Flock of Doom, and Regrowth. And then he once again has 2 Sisters of Avalorn and the Talons of Torquelada, the Fireborn, Silver Helms, and Illyrian Reavers. So really trying to go all in on that fire damage equals good damage. I think the Razordons are doomed. The archers are going to murder them. And you can see the Razordons immediately are like, wait. Get out of the red arcs. Run! Get out of there! Bastiladon's getting shot a little bit by the archers, and one is even going to get netted. The net is so it can't really dodge, but it's mostly also to apply the Kindle Flame debuff. There's some good damage there. These aren't as juicy and glorious of targets as we saw this High Elf build take on earlier versus Nurgle, where there was a Toad Dragon and a Giant to shoot at. These guys are small, and they have missile resistance, and they have a ton of armor. So you can see that the damage isn't nearly as crazy as it was versus Nurgle. It's still good. It's doing a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like, well, that unit instantly died, as Techless takes out like a 1/5 of his own HP with an Overcast. Solar Engine is about to rout. Rev Crystal, I heard it go, but I don't know what it healed. So honestly, I wouldn't hate for it to throw out some heals onto the Solar Engine and just be a nuisance. As the Croxigors try and get into the back line, but they're probably overextending out of desperation because they're feeling pressured by how much damage the archers are doing, and that's understandable. But then overextending and kind of throwing good money after bad. Now the Fireborn got a nice, beautiful charge on the cohort of Waddle and Nakai, so you're taking a bad engagement there. And again, I know it sucks to be taking the archer damage, but you can't get yourself in a bad situation to bail that out. Meanwhile, a sneaky Manticore I didn't even see get summoned, plus the Sora's Spears, take out one of the Sisters of Avalorn, which is pretty huge. The cohort of Waddle, though their charge was suicidal, they've also almost taken out an entire Sister of Avalorn. And the Talons of Torquelada are getting melted by the Razordon hunting packs. Meanwhile, the Fireborn, I don't know if they've gotten a regrowth yet from Teclis, but they certainly need one as they're taking a ton of damage from Nakai and the boys. Razordons are in range to maybe shoot over there. Sisters of Avalorn firing into the central blob fight, not quite taking out the Razordons just yet as I hear Grace moving around. Don't know what she's doing moving around. She knows she's not supposed to move while I'm streaming. Supposed to stay perfectly still. Lyran Reavers into the back line. The Razordons might be cooked at this point, but those Saurus with their buffs they got recently have now surrounded Teclis, and we saw what happened to the Green Knight surrounded by Saurus. Well, Teclis is not the Green Knight as he's taken almost half his HP, and Nakai comes dancing in! The Dancing Man is here! Can Teclis get to safety? He takes a ton of damage. He's down to just around half HP, and he does get away. The Solar Engine's gonna poke at him, just constantly tax his HP. Oh, we're stuttering. You better not crash. When you have a game that's like no lag and then all of a sudden a ton of lag, it, not always, but quite often something will pop up that says X player left, and I'm just, I would lose my mind. So bad news for Lizardmen. I saw the Fireborn just getting a regrowth, so they're nearly back to full. And there's not nearly as much to stop them as there used to be. The Cohort of Waddle are, you know, dead. They're what the Fireborn are currently killing. Nakai is half HP-ish. Ooh, he just got a Rev Crystal. Very good. But, yeah, the Fireborn could definitely put this game on their back. It is very possible. Meanwhile, Razordon's moving up to try and get the final shots onto these Sisters of Avalorn, who are now starting to run away as these barbs start to cut them down. But that does put the Razordons in melee range of a couple spears, so maybe they're not feeling too great. Nakai instead goes dancing back to the front line, plows through some Silverin Guard. Not too much damage on impact from him, but, you know, he's doing what he can. Bounce power is slightly in the High Elf's favor because they've been healing more. What are you doing?
Looking for the puppy.
Okay. Is she in your office? Anyway, gold damage value is very equal, but the High Elves have been healing more than the Lizardmen. Regrowth is just a little more impactful than... Regrowth is more impactful than the Rev Crystal. I got distracted as Nakai got a good shot onto Teclis at the same time the Solar Engine shot him, and his Curse of Honor here slowed. So he's actually slow enough that Nakai can catch him, and he's been debuffed so much that he's actually easy for Nakai to hit. Potion of Troy is out. It gives him some damage resistance. It gives him some healing, but the Dancing Man is trying to catch him. Another shot in. Once again, he's blinded, but the Curse of Honor here is worn off, so he's gotten his speed back. Nakai is now slower than him, and he isn't starting his dancing animation, so he can't catch up, and the Fireborn are going to plow straight into Nakai, and this is a very bad time for the Great White Lizard of Lustria. He needs to find a way out of here immediately. As Teclis takes another shot from the Solar Engine, it threatens to rout him and get rid of him, get rid of any support here for the Fireborn, but he does get one more Flock of Doom off really quick before Sword of Teclis comes out. Now, I did see another heal coming in for Nakai. There it is, the Rev Crystal he needs. We have the Rev Crystal charging in. The Solar Engine still poking at Teclis. We have Skinks trying to help out, but the Fireborn have a full surround on Nakai, and Nakai's in their spears. He's got to get out of here. As the Razordons are coming up, they're trying to do that Khorne versus High Elf thing we saw, where all of the Khorne units blobbed around the High Elf Prince, so then the Archers got a ton of damage out. The Razordons are like, well, they're blobbed around Nakai. I don't know. Fire. Teclis took a ton of damage. He's down to 155 HP. He should be able to rally. He should come back. He is a High Elf Lord. They never truly leave, but man, he's flirting with it. Zero leadership. He might come back, but then he has to use a heal on himself, and he's not there for the Fireborn, who tear out away, taking a ton of damage from these Razordons that have somehow, some way, been kept online all game as a Solar Engine shot goes over the Fireborn, hits the Spearmen, accidentally routing them. Teclis is back with 37 leadership. The boy is ready to go. Use the Potion of Troy to heal himself up. Nakai is trying to chase the Fireborn. The Fireborn are faster, especially when the poison wears off, but the Razordons are making them pay for it. In come Illyrian Reavers and Silverhelms from where? Where were you? As the Rohirrim ride to the aid of, I guess, the Rohirrim as well. I don't know. It's not a different faction. It's not Gondor over here. Sisters of Avalorn get shot on their way in by the Solar Engine. These are Illyrian Reavers, these are Silverhelms. They're not like more Dragon Princes, so it is what it is. But the Rev Crystal is fighting with the Fireborn. Fireborn look like they're going to rout again soon, but they are going to kill some Skink cohorts on their way out. The Beastcaster Skink, very low on HP. He has been for quite a while. Talons of Torquilade are back and firing. We have some Skink cohorts that need to get moving, that need to get those legs pumping and get in there. But Nakai is much more focused on getting the Silverhelms out of here. His Miasma of Despair causes them to get much closer to a Terror route and could buy the Solar Engine some space. The Solar Engine is laser focused. Ha! Laser, because it shoots lasers. Laser focused on Teclis. One more hit to route that stupid High Elf caster, says the Lizardmen. I don't care. I don't think he's stupid. I think Teclis is fine. But they're like, get out of here, you stupid High Elf. Leave. In goes the shot. A bit of lag stops as a tree, a heroic tree. The Wood Elves coming in clutch to save Teclis's life. Razor Hunting Pack's gonna die as they are stuck in Spearmen. A little bit of a mistake there, ending up in melee with Spearmen as the last of these remnants of High Elves are rejoining the battle, slowly coming back. What is the Rev Crystal gonna use its heals on? It still has 3. That is a lot of heals. Actually, probably an irresponsible amount of heals. If it's using them on cooldown, it should have less than 3 by now. Razordons are nearly a spent force. Nakai could still be a menace. And the Lizardmen are taking lead on the balance of power. I would definitely agree. No one's captured the capture point at this point, but I think with Nakai, I think with a Solar Engine with that much ammo, I think with a Rev Crystal with 3 heal casts left, I really don't think the High Elves have enough damage left in them. I think my boy Darth Plagueis might be cooked. And I say my boy because I picked him not as like a guaranteed tournament favorite, like he is going to win no matter what, but definitely a very strong contender. He made it to semifinals and he's in a super close game with Amfish right now. So I don't think my prediction was poorly placed, but he was my prediction to win the whole thing. I might be wrong. Illyrian Reavers tried to charge some Saurus. Then it looks like they kind of got stopped all of a sudden. Shattering off of Illyrian Reavers. Teclis regrowthed himself. But Nakai's coming back in with the Rev Crystal heal, and that's the big problem. What can stop Nakai? We have some very wounded Silverhelms that he would love to party with. We have some very wounded Silverin Guard. And in general, he wouldn't want to party with Silverin Guard, but ones that are this low, sure. The Fireborn are back, but Teclis just used a regrowth on himself. Ooh, he doesn't have one for them. 400 HP and 12 models. Honestly, 12 models is a lot. If they had been able to get a regrowth, they could have done some damage to Nakai. I think Nakai would still kill them. It's only 12 Fireborn, but like, if they had full HP per model, they could have gotten some decent damage out. I don't think they can kill 3 terror-causing armored single entities in both Bastiladons and Nakai, though. Lord Mazda Mundi hating on Saurus spears. Mazda! Mazda, you traitor to the Lizardmen cause? Those Saurus protect you in your star chamber. So Lizardmen just setting up on the point. They have the capture point. They have a Solar Engine getting some occasional shots out. They have a Rev Crystal with 2 more casts left. The High Elves, for their part, are just chasing down anything they can, buying what time they need to, while Teclis keeps spamming out Sword of Teclis to get more Winds of Magic reserves. He does have technically infinite Winds of Magic if given infinite time. I honestly just grabbed some crackers out of habit, and that was a really stupid thing to do. So now I have crackers in my mouth. That's my bad, everybody. Blinded onto the Silverin Guard as Nakai charges in. Terror Route pushes them away. So the Spearmen, sorry, they're Spearmen, not Silverin Guard. Terror Route immediately. I have crackers in my mouth. This was a stupid thing to do. Silverhelms charge Skin cohorts as the Talons of Torquilade try and get set up. 27 out of 90, so they still have a third of their damage potential, but they're so low that when these skinks catch them, they're going to lose models very quickly. Silverhelm's rear charge, but a brutal overcasted Flock of Doom from the skink does finish those High Elf units. They're probably not coming back as Nakai gets a big charge in onto Teclis. Miasma of Despair slows him down enough that Nakai is faster. Nakai should catch him. He's busy just doing that thing where sometimes models walk side by side with each other. That's a little unfortunate for the High Elves. But I don't think there's really hope. I don't think Darth Plagueis can kill it. Look at Nakai just walking along with his buddy. Misophonia kicking in hard. Could you hear me? Damn. I didn't think you could hear me chewing because it's pretty quiet. Microphone shouldn't have been able to catch it with its noise gate. That's my bad, if you could. And another very close game. Man, this top 8 has actually been crazy close. Another very close game here tonight. Amfish taking a win and going to finals on the Lizardmen. He knows he's facing Wood Elves, but which Wood Elves? Sisters of Avalorn did okay. Townsfolk did okay. Fireborn did great, but the rest of the High Elves couldn't quite hold up their end of the bargain. GG. Let's pop on down to Leodoro versus Rokuto. Rokuto? It's a Kuto. I don't remember what it is. Rokuto. There we go. Two games left. We have another semifinal and then the finals. I'm gonna need another cracker, but this time I'm gonna push the microphone away. You also having some cheese that cracker? No, I'm sick, so I'm just keeping really bland stuff going in my stomach. Canadian wildfires got me on one, for real, for real. Alright, we're loading up. Both players taking turns readying up, but they're pretty much ready. And we're loading. Our first sighting of great stagnites today. Damn! God damn. Well, we have 96 people watching. If you haven't liked the stream, do that. If you haven't subscribed, probably do that. Yeah, if you're gonna go watch Turin after this, then have fun with Turin after this, but wait till after this. There's only 2 best of ones left. You can do it. Do foot squires do well in Nosaurus after the patch? Maybe could have used those instead of Hippogriff Knights. They do okay. Yeah, I don't know if they win 1v1 purely, but they might. Especially if you're buffing them up with a Grail Rodique. I personally am a huge fan of Men-at-Arms Polearms. I think those guys are chads. We're on Peak Pass. Maybe the biggest map in the game. Maybe second biggest. For the Wood Elves of Leodoro, he is bringing his tried and true spam all of the infantry and archers. We have some Eternal Guard of Shields, Dryads, including the Race of the Frozen Heart, and then 1 cavalry piece in the Glade Riders. Drycha with Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma and her summon, and then a crap ton of Glade Guard, some Hagbanes, some Starfire Shafts, some regular. On the other side, for Rakutu, we have a couple great stag knights, 2 of those, 4 glade riders with spears. 5? I see 5. I think you're limited to 4. War Dancers and Dryads, and a spell of high magic with Apotheosis and Soul Quench. I do believe we have one too many Glade Riders. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, there's not a lot that we can do about it right now. Because since we don't have in-game chat, I don't know if the players would even see me post about it before they start the game. Sorry, I'm typing to the player. He did happen to see me posting about it. Okay, game started, so we'll just play it out. If the 5 Glade Riders wins, then they will deal with it when we deal with it. If they lose, then it's not a problem, right? So, happens. Happens. Okay. So for the sake of lack of drama, we're hoping the red army wins. If the blue army wins, but they have one too many Glade Riders, then it has to be up to the admins. The stinky admins. Okay, cool. Cool. Not stressful at all. Not a big problem. And I already covered who both the armies are, so this isn't my problem. Nothing's my problem. I don't have to do anything. I'm leaving. Getting out of this place. Peacing out. Oh no. Let's focus up. Soul Quench coming in on a box formation Glade Guard should get a lot of good juicy impact damage. Good job. Nice early cast. If that's only 6 wins of magic, that's probably worth it. That's 7. Not worth it at all. Garbage. Garbage. War Dancers could do some decent work in this matchup. They have physical resistance, so some of these archers don't have magic damage. Some of them do. They can also throw on this one, Woven Mist, for 40% missile resistance, and they can cleave through enemy dryads pretty easily. So we'll have to see how that goes. War Dancers and all the cavalry, I actually do think that the blue army has a decent shot of dealing with these Wood Elves. Because we saw earlier a Wood Elf mirror match, right, with the Zotes and the Way of the Pravenoth Rima caster, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know how this build deals with the other build. This one, I definitely see how it happens. I could see how this one wins. It's a very solid build and it has its own tools, but I can see the War Dancer's full cav angle. Red Wood Elves trying to close lines, trying to keep the ranks nice and tight so that these Glade Riders can't get through. The one Glade Rider Leodoro has does peel nicely, but there are places where you're not going to be able to block everything. There are places where that Glade Rider cannot be, and now the Great Stag Knights are getting through with their reindeer charges. I want to see a reindeer charge. I'm going to watch this reindeer charge. Reindeer charge accidentally. Not the reindeer I was watching. Different reindeer. Now this reindeer gets a charge. Reindeer charge. So, they're getting in here. Apotheosis is going to heal them up. As we saw with the Wild Riders of the previous time we saw this Wood Elf versus Wood Elf build from Leodoro, the Great Stag Knights are getting pin cushioned by any archers they aren't currently fighting. But this one, unlike the other one, has 6 cavalry, 7 cavalry. So there's a lot more to disrupt than the 3 Wild Riders of last time. The War Dancer's doing well on the front line. The ones that did get shot to pieces before getting there are having a bit of a harder go of it. One of them routed off, the other one routed off as well. But the ones that didn't, you can see there, blending through Eternal Guard, getting into that back line. Blending through Eternal Guard, getting in the back line over here. Leodoro is still up on damage value. It does appear his Wood Elf 20 stack of Doom and Archers and Violence is a little too much to overcome, even for this many cavalry, even for the War Dancers. Because the War Dancers are stopping to fight these Eternal Guard, they are going to get shot a lot in the butt. Their butts are shot. More Glade Riders in to stop the Glade Guard from shooting. And the damage value is about 2-1 in Leodoro's favor. The Red Army is prevailing at the moment. The Spellweaver of High Magic, still full HP, doing what she can, disrupting what she can, getting involved nice and early, but archers are shooting at her occasionally. I do like that overall Leodoro is just ignoring her and focusing instead on the multi-entity models for more guaranteed damage and more battlefield control. Damage on her is nice if you can get it, but she's not a big threat to your archers. The Glade Riders, the Great Stag Knights, the War Dancers are. Great Stag Knights routing off, army losses hits, and the rule break literally didn't matter. As Leodoro won anyway. All right. I was memeing with one of the RTK admins. So we're in the post-game screen. Not really in a rush because the finalists have to get together and make their lobby and make their build, so we're not in a rush this time. And really good peel by Leodoro. This build does seem quite strong in the mirror match. Seems like he's put a lot of thought into it. Looks good. Looks real good. We're on to finals, and Leo is the host, so I actually suspect we'll just be staying here. I'm going to put a blocker up. Blocker! Oh, shit. I think I pinged the wrong guy. So, the winner of this finals, well, it's not Rakutu versus Leodoro. We're waiting for Rakutu to abandon ship and apparently let his brother Amfish in. So Rakutu's brother Amfish and trying to avenge him. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Amfish versus Leodoro. Whoever wins this gets 3 DLCs of their choice, and whoever loses just gets the same one. I have messaged Dark Plagueis and Rakutu to let me know what DLCs they are looking for. can be the Tides of Torment. I just obviously can't get that for you right now, so we'll have to wait till it comes out. We have a teeny tiny little bit of a wait as our finalists will be joining and building their builds. So I'm going to take a brief break from the microphone here and go refresh my water and have a couple more crackers because I am very hungry. We had to skip lunch to stream for you people.
Do you see the sacrifices I make?
All right, BRB. All right, I'm back. Amfish is here, so our finalists are both in the lobby. I'm answering admins and finishing chewing. Sorry if I've been a little quiet. Okay, we're done chewing. We're back. We're here. The map is set. I'm back. Hi, chat. Leonar's here. What up? Hayseed, dude. You're joining in at the finals, Hayseed. You're gonna want to go back and watch the entire top 8. All the games were crazy. I'm trying to think of any that was like bad. I don't think there was a single bad one. At most, here's what I'll give you. At most, there was one that was fine. That's like, I'm not thinking of a specific one. I'm just giving myself that out in case Hayseed goes and watches the top 8 and he's like, what about blank versus blank? I'm like, okay, maybe I forgot that one. But all the ones I remember were bangers. Top 8's been insane. All right. Here we go. Rakutu wishing Amfish, his little brother, some luck, some wisdom, some love. All right. Fish says he's ready. Leoduro got a little check mark. So between those two, that should mean we're getting into our final game. Battles worthy of the 100th edition. Honestly, I got so hyped about the games that were going on, I forgot it was the fancy 100 stream. Like, I was so busy just yelling at the games. It's crazy. Nakai versus Orion. Where were you when this was the meta? Where were any of you? Amfish, Leodero, final game. Amfish cut his beloved solar engine for a worse in every way ancient salamander. Hashtag ancient salamander hating gang. I hate the ancient salamander. I think it's trash. I know there's good Lizardmen players that actually are much more knowledgeable than me, and they say it's good, so I'll believe them, but I just can't get that damn thing to do what I want it to do, so I hate it. Everybody, like, I feel like everybody has that unit, you know? Or several, but at least one. Everybody has that unit that you, like, know is good, right? Enough good people have told you it's good, have shown you it's good, but when you use it, when you control it, that damn thing, whatever it is for you, but for me it's the ancient salamander, it misses every shot, it gets obstructed by nothing, you know, just all that crap, and then it gets caught and dies, and it's pretty expensive, and I'm like, fuck this thing, I'm never using it again, never again. And then some good Lizardman player will tell me it's good, and I'll bring it, and I'll use it, and I'll be like, fuck this thing, it sucks ass, I'm never using it again. Every time. All right. For the Lizardmen build, we are hovering on. We have a bestowed on Rev Crystal, has been doing a ton of work today. Ancient Salamander instead of the solar engine. We'll see if it works out. Khorne of Hwaddle, Nakai the Wanderer, then the Legion of Chakwa Saurus Spears. And I thought I saw a regular Saurus Spear somewhere. There it is in the front line with this silver chevron. It's pretty elite as far as Saurus Spears go. 5 Skin Cores of Javelins, 2 Skin Cores regular, and then a Beastcaster with just Manticore and Flock of Doom. Yeah, Curio defending the Ancient Salamander. On the Wood Elf side, we have Glade Riders with Spears, chilling over there, another one near the formation, and then it's the pretty classic Leoduro at this point. A crap ton of archers, Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts and Hagbane Tips and regular, and then a bunch of Dryads, Eternal Guard. But what is a little different is no Drycha this time. Instead we have Orion and a Branch Wraith. Orion out there and the Branch Wraith with Earthblood and Melkoths. Orion to try and take down some of these larger targets and be a duelist here. As the Ancient Salamander's trying to scoot and shoot a little bit, Orion is ready to huck spears at it from a decent distance, but it takes a low ground position, so spears might go over its head. It is very low to the ground. All right, Branch Wraith already overcasted something and took some damage for it. As a Vanguard Glade Rider is going to probably try and sneak its way onto, if I had to guess, probably the Ancient Salamander is what it would aim for. Nakai and the Khorne of Hwaddle, feeling undeterred, going to wander straight into the jaws of death, which is the Wood Elf firing lines, but the missile resistance pop from the Shield of Chakwa tries to get them at least into the melee before they start getting murdered, and they have 65% resistance to missiles right now with the ward save and the missile resistance, so that is very potent. That was a cool little strategy because the shield applies to them if they're near at first, but they don't have to stay near it to keep it going. So they plow through straight onto the back line. Now, even with 65% resistance to the type of missiles coming at them and a heal from the Rev Crystal, they're still at half HP. That's just how many Wood Elf archers are pin cushioning those poor Legion of Chakwa. The Khorne of Hwaddle, sorry. The Legion of Chakwa tried to save them. Manticore Summon is out from the Skink Priest. It disrupted the High Elves earlier, so now they're going for the Wood Elf version of it. And the Khorne of Hwaddle continuing to fight next to Nakai on these Glade Guard, doing some good disruption, but man, they've taken so much damage in the process. The Bastillodon Rev Crystal is also pushed away, which is a bit of a disaster for the Lizardmen. They can't rely on that sufficient healing in the late game. And the Skink Cohorts with their Javelins have done some decent damage, but they need to be ordered into melee soon. Soon. Feral Cold One's fighting Glade Riders. Nakai still trying to disrupt this back line. The Wood Elf front line is holding. Lizardmen do not have the most aggressive frontline options. They have tanky front lines. They don't have the best at actually getting through these Dryads and Eternal Guard. So just stopping these Glade Guard is proving to be very difficult for a lot of players today. Now, someone beat Leodoro at one point. He did go through the bracket stage with a 4-1 record, not a 5-0. But in the playoffs here, the top 8, it has been very hard for anybody to shut down all of his Glade Guards with the infantry supporting them. Bounce power and damage value are both going against Amfish at this point. The Ancient Salamander, he's moving and grooving. He's dodging a lot of shots in here while he can. And gets a good shot onto the Glade Guard. And he'll dodge before he takes more damage after that. But there's not a lot to follow it up, right? We have some Skinks, but most of the Skinks and Saurus are routing. It's just Nakai and a flock of Doomcaster for the most part. Nakai's juking, Nakai's disrupting, Nakai's being a problem. And Orion is on the hunt. Throws a jab at his back as he dances his way through more Glade Guard. Hey, the cohort's back. Hi, cohort. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, the cohort's gone. For real this time. Nakai goes to disrupt more stuff. Does not want to fight Orion for any amount of time. But I see a lot of white wizardmen. Yeah, the wizardmen are here. Anyway, a lot of white lizardmen flags, so no one is coming to aid Nakai. Orion might be able to 1v1 him, and even if Orion can't, there's a lot of archer support left to clean up the remnants of Crocodile left behind by the King of the Wild Hunt. Though, again, it seems like the King of the Wild Hunt has this in the bag. Primal Roar is out from Nakai. He's getting some good shots back. But Orion still has his trump card. When he gets low enough, he's just going to start healing with his Cloak of Isha. Nakai's kind of kicking his ass. Wow. Go, Nakai, go. Go, Nakai, go. Army Losses is here. Go, Nakai, go. Kick his magic spear holding ass. Is that Grace? Do you want to congratulate the winner? Because it's over. Leodoro. Leodoro.
Okay, I don't know who you are, but congratulations.
Do you want to say a couple kind words on their behalf?
Yeah.
All right, get closer to the microphone.
That's really nice. You did a good job.
What's your favorite thing about Leodoro?
Oh, that they won the new player tournament.
Okay, what's their favorite color?
Green?
Okay, what's their favorite food?
Salmon?
That's a good favorite food. That's a wow, Leodoro is a healthy person.
Thank.
Leodoro, Grace thinks you're an incredible player.
Yeah.
Do you think they're better than me?
No.
Yay! That's the right answer. All right. Amfish had a good run. Lizardmen did well, but this was the Wood Elves tournament. Wood Elves are OP, too strong. Congrats, Human Boy, on 100 episodes. True, we have been doing new player tournaments.
Rick and Morty, 100 episodes.
Forever and ever.
Human Boy, forever and ever.
New player tournaments forever and
Forever and
ever.
ever.
For over 2 years. Doing new player tournaments for over 2 years. It's been good. It's been nice. Like I said, I am a little sick, a little under the weather due to this Canadian wildfire smoke. If you're Canadian out there, I blame you. I blame all of you.
No.
What was that? Oh, it's real. It's all real. It hurts.
It's all real. It hurts.
I blame you. Yeah.
Oh, so there wasn't any evidence.
That's a ton of evidence. All right. I don't think Turin has his rating on correctly yet. I don't think I can rate him. I would if I could. I'm going to try. But do know Turin is streaming some domination right now. And he's actually playing the Lizardmen, if I remember correctly.
Ooh.
So you could go see some more Lizardmen content. What?
Get out of there.
Oh, she's just being a dog. Yeah, he's grayed out for me, so I can't rate him officially. Y'all know where to find him. If unofficial raid, yeah. If you know me, you definitely know who Turin is. So just go. Don't
Go.
go. Get out of here. I don't have anything else to say. So
Hazel has something to say.
what do you have to say?
The Hazel Realty. Call me. I'll sell you a house.
She does love selling houses. All right.
Plugging up it.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for a really fun new player tournament. Thanks to RTK for hosting, as always. I'd like to thank Conan O'Brien and Stephen Colbert for their introduction today. I'd like to thank the catering staff. Tip your waiters. Rick and Morty, 100 years. Yeah.